The first 25 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 856-347-0032.
Hey, it's Nick. Transform any living space for summer, indoors or out, during the Memorial Day sale at Bucks County Estate Traders. Their showroom is filled with high quality, built-to-last furniture, and I love the incredible variety. No matter your style, you will find beautiful pieces for every room in your home, plus a huge selection of patio and sunroom furniture. Save 20 to 50% store-wide. The sale runs now through the 31st, so don't miss it. Visit BucksCountyEstateTraders.com or their huge showroom in Hatfield. Tell them Nick sent you.
With your Cash Reward MasterCard from American Heritage Credit Union, you can earn up to 3% cash back on essentials like groceries and gas, and up to 2% cash back on travel and dining. For everything else, you'll earn up to 1% cash back. Earn a little extra when celebrating our nation's 250th anniversary this summer. Head to AmericanHeritageCU.org/cashback to apply today. Insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender. Not a member? Join today.
Chuck McDowell here with Red Pocket Mobile. How long have you been stuck with the same phone plan? 2 years? 5? 10? Are you tired of surprise fees and confusing bills that never match what you thought you were paying? Cut the nonsense.
Right now at redpocket.com, new and existing customers adding a line can get our premium 5G plan for just $5 a month. That's only $60 a year.
And here's the kicker. Red Pocket Mobile gives you access to all 3 5G networks. You pick the one that works best where you live or work, or switch anytime for better coverage. And with Red Pocket, you keep your phone and your number. Why in the world would you not switch? Red Pocket Mobile, your new ultimate cell carrier.
Celebrate Memorial Day with big savings from Red Pocket Mobile. Right now, new and existing customers can get our premium 5G plan for just $5 a month. Just $60 a year, and choose from all 3 major 5G networks with one locked-in low price at redpocket.com. That's redpocket.com. redpocket.com.
Five-year-old Chiru has no choice. She and millions like her must walk miles every day for dirty water. But together, we can end their walk by providing clean water close by. Instead of spending hours walking to get water that makes them sick, girls can be in a classroom that expands their minds, and moms will gain back time to care for their families. Sons and daughters can grow up strong, finally free of sicknesses caused by dirty water. At World Vision, care about clean water runs deep. Deep enough to reach one new person with clean water every 10 seconds. Because every child, every person, everywhere deserves clean water and the chance to rise to their full potential. It's true. When you just add water, you change a life. Learn more at worldvision.org.
What's one of your favorite memories?
That's a tough question. Well, there was this one time I went camping with my parents in a forest back when I was maybe like 8 or 9. And I can remember one night we were laying out in our hammocks and we were just, watching the trees rustling in the wind above us, and we could hear the sounds of the forest all around us. Frogs singing and owls calling and the creek running nearby. It was amazing. It felt like we were a part of it all. I don't know if I do it justice trying to describe it, but I'll definitely never forget it.
Most of us have a memory of being in nature we'll never forget. Let's protect the world's natural places so more memories can be made for generations to come. Visit worldwildlife.org.
You are not your diagnosis.
A medical chart is not your identity.
And vision loss does not define you.
Your drive shows who you are.
And you are not alone.
Because we are driven too.
To be a beacon of strength.
A champion of courage.
An advocate for hope.
You are not alone.
Because we are stronger together.
We drive the research for the cures we are finding.
We're fighting macular degeneration,
retinitis pigmentosa,
Usher syndrome,
and the entire spectrum of blinding retinal diseases.
We fund.
We fight.
We win.
We
We are the Foundation Fighting Blindness.
Together, we are fighting blindness.
Join the fight at fightingblindness.org.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Getting support from friends online kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
Instead of smoking after I ate, I'd get up and take a walk.
I missed having a cigarette in my hand, so I'd hold a pen or a straw, anything.
Until I knew I wouldn't give in to temptation, I spent more time with my friends who didn't smoke.
I went to places that were smoke-free.
I didn't stay quit the very first time I tried.
I kept on trying, and I learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
I quit.
I quit.
I quit.
We did it, so can you.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Just to point out how great this show is, Dawn Stensland, Greg Stocker, everybody involved. We are crushing it in the YouTube game.
Thank you for making us the #1 viewed news talk show in Odyssey.
And if you ever miss the show, you can always get the podcast on iTunes, where we have a 4.9 out of 5. Vicky Herz, Herz, says, the only podcast that truly feels like a family, especially when you watch on YouTube.
Aww.
They tell the truth, they debate.
And we fight.
And most of all, they start at 6 a.m.
Wow.
Thankfully, with the podcast, I can listen anytime.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app. WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Pack is back. Yeah, back to back packs. Hosting the drive time show here, 3 to 7. You got to love it here on WPHT, 1210 a.m. I am happy to be back. We did yesterday, Memorial Day, and here I am back in studio. Actually, they didn't let me leave the building, so I've been here, the last 24 hours or so. It's been great. Really good snacks down there. Adjusted in that vending machine, man. It's some good stuff. Gotta love it. So, but I'm happy to be back. You are listening to the Afternoon Drive Show on WPHT 1210. I am your host today, Steve Pac-Man Pakradooni. I'm going to run through a little bit of who I am and why I'm here and all that other kind of stuff, just in case you didn't listen yesterday because it wasn't your normal time. You were off yesterday for Memorial Day. And, one time I've been on the drive time here with Mike Opelka, and now they got me in here kind of doing it myself, talking for 4 hours by myself. Can I do it? Yeah, I'm Italian. I could talk about anything for 4 hours, so it'll be pretty easy. A little bit about myself. I always call myself a political actionist, not an activist. And that quote comes from Dr. Cobain, who is a world-renowned speaker and also the president of HBU, High Point University in North Carolina. And there's a difference between actionist and activist. Activist is protesting something and whatever. Actionist makes things happen. And that's what it's my little tagline, and I ask people to do that. And everybody can be an actionist. Everybody can get involved. It's our government by the people, for the people, the whole thing. And yes, but you have to act on that. We talked about freedom yesterday, talked about all kinds of great stuff. I'm going to get into that, but I got to do a little housekeeping first. There's the call-in number. It's a talk show. You're supposed to call in. So the call-in number is 855-839-1210. You're listening to me now, but say, hey, you get out of the car or whatever, you can always listen on the Odyssey app. It's always free, the Odyssey app. Download it. Some great programs on there. Of course, 1210 is the top of my list. Listen to it every single day, all day. You can watch me. You can see me. Do have a face for radio, but you can go to the YouTube app, open it up, search for 1210. Show will come right up. And, this great technology, AI, everybody's against it and all, but got Alexa in your kitchen there or wherever, just ask Alexa, play 1210 a.m. And you don't have to miss a minute of the show. And maybe so many people might want to miss a minute of a show. I don't know. But, hey, here I am again. So a little bit about myself again. Auto mechanic by trade. Got involved in politics in about 2018. It's a pretty decent story, but I moved quickly up the ranks. I did a lot. I worked on all kinds of campaigns, from my own campaigns. I've ran for office 3 times. I was unsuccessful in those runs. It didn't deter me. I kept at it. And then I found out that I'm a little bit better in the back end. I am the municipal chairman for the Washington Township Republican Organization in Gloucester County, New Jersey, where that town we're very successful. We have a complete Republican council board and a Republican mayor that we flipped in 2024 after 25 years of a Democrat mayor. So that action part works. You get people involved, things happen. I worked on state campaigns. Of course, I worked on the governor's campaign for Jack Ciattarelli. More than happy to help out Stacey Garrity, doing a little bit about that here in PA. We're going to talk a lot about that here today. And just a regular guy, though. That's the one thing that I always tell everybody. I said, as a regular guy, and you can get involved. You can make a difference. I'm not going to have a caller at the 4:00 hour. So the regular guy too, getting involved. He's been pretty great with the community, but he's also a little disgusted with what was happening at our county government. So he's decided to jump in and run for a county commissioner spot in Gloucester County, New Jersey. And he's going to call in and tell his story. But again, it's funny because I listen to a lot of talk radio, a lot of different stations, even here. And people think you have to be politically connected. You have to know somebody. You have to have tons of money, all this kind of stuff. And it's just not true. It's just not true. You don't have to do that. You could just get involved. And how you get involved is, and Dawn mentions this so many time on her program, just go to your local Republican organization. Hey, listen, if you're a Democrat, that's cool too, as long as you're involved. Go to their local organization and sign up, be a volunteer. And I think you're going to find that, I know Greg Stocker always talks about all politicians, are scumbags and this, and that. I had one on yesterday. Our council president from Washington Township, Gloucester County, Peter Delbarello, he was on. Great interview. He's not a scumbag. He's a good guy, and he's really doing the right thing for our town. And quality people don't get involved because of what happens in politics. They drag your name through the mud. Happened to me many, many times. There's still people dragging my name through the mud, but it is what it is. But if you're willing to take a little bit of a hit, I think quality people do very well in this business. And it's really, if you don't get involved and you don't want to do this kind of stuff, and you say, my vote doesn't count and all, we're stuck with people like Mikey Sherrill, Josh Shapiro, AOC, Bernie Sanders, all that kind of stuff. And when people stay home, they don't vote. This is what happens. We get people like this in here. I mean, AOC's story, if everybody, they always forget who she beat, in a Democratic primary. The guy's name came with a C. That's how irrelevant he is. But he was a solid Democrat establishment. I mean, that guy was there forever. He was Pelosi's team, the whole thing. And he lost sight of what his people in his district. Joe Crowley, that's it. I know it was a C. I was going to say Connolly. I said that's not right, but Joe Crowley. And if you remember that, he's always was standing next to Pelosi, right, Justin? He's always in that picture when you see the press conference. He was way up there. And what happens is that these guys get into that style of bubble, and they think that they're just going to vote for me. They're just going to vote for me. I'm doing a great thing. And clearly the people in his district were not happy with what he was doing. And AOC comes out there with, she looks good. She's got all these promises, this, that, and the other thing. And it was just change. And he lost sight of the people in his district, which also happened to Massey. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that, but I'm going to talk about that in a second. But he lost sight. Joe lost sight of the people in his district. He stopped representing them. And man, they voted him out in the primary. And now we're stuck with AOC. Now, there's some loony bins that think she should be president. Listen, if somebody told me I should be president, I'm like, that's great. I can't be president. I'm going to be honest with you. There are certain abilities that you need to be president. AOC is not that smart. On the world stage, she showed it. Not to mention her crazy communist policies and socialism and all this other stuff. And then if Bernie Sanders is backing her, there's a problem. But that goes back to what we talked about yesterday about freedom. Memorial Day, everybody gave their ultimate sacrifice. These military members gave their lives to keep our freedom. Bernie Sanders and AOC, they prey on people that cannot handle the responsibility of the freedoms that were allowed in this country. It's great to have all this freedom, but in those freedoms, you're responsible for yourself. And unfortunately, a lot of people in this country, the ones that back Bernie and AOC and all this stuff, they do not want the responsibility of the freedoms of this country provides for us. So, it's a deep discussion. People might have different ideas about it, but to me, I always say that with freedom comes that great responsibility of taking care of yourself. Now, the people who are truly cannot take care of themselves, not able, disabled, the whole thing, yes, as good people, we should be looking out for those citizens, but not ones that are going to exploit the system, which we just found out in California, Maine, all these crazy states. They were just stealing our money, but that's a whole nother story too. So, but again, action. And you can make a simple action. You can make a simple action of just making sure you research your candidates and you get out and vote for them. Now, I'm a party guy. I'm a Republican, right? I, support the Republican candidates. I feel that, they align with how I feel, how I think. But let me tell you, I've pulled the lever for a Democrat before. I've supported a Democrat before. Now, in Philadelphia, because it was the Democrat running. There was only Democrats running. I had no other choice, but it was the Democrat running against our current district attorney here. And I made a donation to him, and I was very public about that. But you have to do things like that. It can't always just be party lines. It has to be the person that's able to do the job. Who can do the job? AOC might talk a good game, might have all these great ideas, the Green New Deal, and I can't imagine. Remember when President Trump came out and said, all these gray hair guys standing behind AOC thinking this, Green New Deal is the way to go. It just would bankrupt our country. It was insane to stifle our energy policies and all, but some crazy policies. And I just could never, if it was a Republican saying those words, no in the world would I be able to, push the lever for that. So that's a little bit about me. We got a whole lot going on. I do have a great show coming up. We have some great guests. We have a great guest that's going to talk a little bit about, climate change, which it's so funny. I always talk about global warming, that, hey, global warming's here today, then it's gone tomorrow. We're approaching global warming season, summer. It's called summer. It gets hot in the summer, pretty sure about that. Justin, right? Gets hot in the summer.
It's already he was humid outside today. I don't know, it was rainy all weekend, and it was lower 60s. I come into work today, and it's just sticky and humid. I hated it.
Yeah, it was pretty humid. I'm not a big humidity guy.
Nah.
I don't mind that dry heat. You got to Vegas. It's 110. It's a dry heat. It's still 110, but yeah, it's global warming season, people. It's summer, and actually, I'm looking forward to it. So, all right, just talked a whole bunch. Man, we went through 17 minutes already, Justin.
Look at that.
That was easy, So why don't we take a little bit of a break now so I can line up a couple of more things for you. I got that out of the way. You want to call in? Call in. That'd be great. Love to talk to you. It's 1-855-839-1210. And you have been listening to the Afternoon Drive Show on 1210 WPHT with your host, Steve Pakradooni. Talk to you right after the break.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
As Philly celebrates 250 years, it's a reminder that the businesses that last are the ones you can truly trust. That's why so many families rely on United Tire and Service. When it comes to your car, you deserve honesty, clear explanations, and no pressure. Just experienced mechanics who tell you what you need, what can wait, and get the job done right. With more of us keeping our cars longer than ever, having a team you trust really matters. Visit UnitedTire.com or your locally owned United Tire. Don't drive alone. Drive United.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-323-8922. 800-323-8922. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-323-8922.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mary Claire Haver, a board-certified OBGYN and menopause specialist. My new podcast, Unpaused, is the place for bold, unfiltered conversations about what it really takes for women to thrive in the second half of life. Every week, I sit down with medical experts, cultural icons, and powerhouse women to talk about what really matters. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Listen to and follow Unpaused with me, Dr. Mary Claire Haver, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Now, you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Oh, yep. I'm back. Pack is back in the saddle. Actually, not the saddle. I stand. Justin, I don't know why I stand. I stand at work all day, 10 hours a day. It's something I've done ever since I got in the automotive repair industry. It's just something I do. I'm not comfortable sitting, actually, and so I just stand. But it's amazing, though. I kind of fall over at the end of the day because I'm so tired. But
I mean, at least you don't got to worry about all those problems that come from being sedentary at work.
Yeah. So, I forgot to mention too. There is another producer with us, of course, the great Matt DeSantis. But before I say that, I have to get the disclaimer out that I think Matt DeSantis is the best producer ever in this business because I do not want to be sued by a certain lawyer that comes on this program too, that may or may not be named Linda. And I know some previous hosts that actually usually sat in this position at this drive time may or may not have been exactly happy with Matt DeSantis and really, really gave him a ribbing. But I don't think I would do that because I don't think my attorney's going to be able to beat Linda, and my attorney's Matt Rooney, so they'd have to duke that out. So, Matt, was that I got my disclaimer in. I'm going to be okay for the rest of the show?
Yeah, that was satisfactory. I keep a transcript of the show just in case, for legal purposes. But yeah, Rich has been sued by Linda at least a dozen times now. I think you're in the clear. I don't foresee any lawsuits today.
Okay, all right, that's good because it's a huge problem with that defending these things. And Rooney has done so many of them for me at Pro Bono. I think I'm out. So, and then he buys this fancy electric car that I can't even help him with, So I said, yeah, I used to pay him in oil changes, but he doesn't have that anymore, so it is what it is. But
Rooney-
not great.
Rooney
I'm
went
happy
electric?
that. And Matt, it's always great to talk to you. And I love talking to you guys because you're the young guys, and your perspective is completely different. We did that yesterday on the show. I actually had my son in studio with me and his college buddy. Went to high school with his friend Carl Wisman, and they go to two separate colleges. But it was it was great to get their perspective. And they're younger than you guys, of course. But I always tell my wife Gina, we're doomed. This is our youth. That's it. You know what I mean? But let me tell you, these guys shined, and they're paying attention, and they like our country, and they understand the freedoms and the whole thing. So it worked out great. So, but thanks guys for that. So I want to talk a little bit about. I talked about this before on previous shows, but I'm going to bring it up a little bit more too. As Americans, we do need to communicate a little bit better, especially with our youth. That's been a big problem for me in my positions that I have in our Republican organization. We're old. I'm going to be honest, and I know some of my committee members and club members are listening. My fellow board members, we're just old, and we look around the room and we're like, man, it'd be nice to get some younger guys in here. So we lucked out, and we did bring in some younger guys. They're in high school. A couple of them are entering college now, and we need to talk with these guys more and make them understand that, hey, they have concerns, they have needs, and maybe they're not as vocal as we are. Maybe they're not listening to conservative talk radio, which I'm thinking they're probably not. But, President Trump, he was smart to go on Joe Rogan. His son, Barron, said him that way. And I think that's where our party, at least the Republican Party, may be failing a lot too, is that they don't get the younger people involved. But also just everyday normal Americans. Now, I'm pretty active on social media. I try my best to be polite and nice. I've never written out a curse word on social media. I just refuse to post it. Every once in a while, I'll repost something that somebody said to me, and I give a disclaimer. I apologize about the language. Listen, I curse like a truck driver when I'm off the air and the whole thing. I'm not, it just is what it is. It's just, but when you write it out, when you're having a conversation on social media, even a text message, and you write those words in a text message, it just comes more harsh than just talking, Again, born and raised in South Philly. I was hanging on the corner. Let me tell you, we've used some very, very, we're going to say, what do they call it? Colorful language, right? But I think we need to tone it down a tad. I don't think it's proper. Some people, I've never even met before told me that, they effing hate me and they would kill me if they saw me, and, crazy things. I support a pedophile and all this nonsense. But so something I wrote out, I'm going to read it, but something that I said, the us against them has to stop. We are all on the same team. We're all on the same team. We are all American citizens. For example, I can't imagine any reasonable person on the left who would not agree that we all should be removing dangerous criminals from our streets. I've had discussions with people about immigration, and it's funny that they feel, the ones on the left, they feel that we're just removing people off of the streets. We're just snatching people off of the streets. They had the right to be here, but the Trump administration and ICE is just snatching them off the street, and that's happening. And then when we had the conversation, I was like, it's not happening. It's not. And, you can always use AI, which we had the discussion yesterday about. We can look it up, and it really doesn't happen. Yes. When you have people that are in the country that applied for, whatever papers to stay in the country, you're going to have a mistake here and there, and maybe you'll get a deportation order of someone that should legally be here. But I don't know, Matt, what do you think the percentage of that, of the deportation orders that are written, how many do you think are false or they're just wrong? What would you think the percentage of that would be?
I would think it'd be pretty small. I don't know, 5%. Nah, not even. 3%, let's say.
Not even. It's 0.002 something or whatever.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, when we looked it up, it's very, very small because it is a process to get a deportation. It's not like they wake up in the morning, they go down a list, and they go, this guy's out, this guy's. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that. But unfortunately, the news and the sensationalism of it, and everything Trump does is wrong. I mean, the reality is Obama deported way more people than Trump ever has, and it's okay because they like Obama. He was cool. We liked him. So that was the difference with it. But when we get back to the criminals, can you tell me that anybody, any reasonable person, and I'm not talking about a leftist nutcase. We have rightist nutcases also, but I'm not talking about a leftist nutcase that think there should be no jails. I'm not that person. But your average person that probably doesn't like the way the president talks, but could you, when you talk to them and say, well, should we really allow criminals to walk our streets, especially if they're in their country illegally? And generally speaking, when we have a conversation one-on-one, they agree, well, yeah, that's probably, I don't have a problem with removing people who are in the country illegally. They're criminals. So let's talk a little bit more about that. Let's not just pick our side. It's not like you're either pro-immigration or anti-immigration, which is not true. I'm pro-immigration, just come in legally. Actually, I feel we need more people to come in legally because we're not having, American citizens are not having, as many children as we used to and all. And what's going to happen is it's going to hurt our economy eventually. You can make all the goods and services in the world here in this country. You can make all this great stuff in this country like President Trump wants to do. But if there's nobody in our country to buy it, companies are not going to, do well. There's not going to be that many jobs. So I feel that we should close the door on illegal immigration. That door is closed on that southern border. They're not flowing in. Now, let's see how many people, bring them in, how many jobs are there. You don't want to flood it too much because then you don't want to raise your unemployment rate, of course. I'm going to ask Justin, do you ever think that the Congress is ever going to agree on anything on immigration, whether increase it, decrease it, or whatever? Do you ever think they're going to say, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Let's, instead of 250,000 people a year, let's let in 500,000?
Maybe if we were living 25, 30 years ago, but in this current day of partisan politics, you have a better chance of us colonizing Mars in the next 100 years, terraforming Mars even in the next 100 years, than you do having Congress agreeing on anything related to immigration.
Yeah, you're spot on, man. I'm telling you guys, us old people, man, listen to these young guys. They know what they're talking about. It's true. It's true. Congress will not agree on anything. And I'm not saying all Congress members are bad. Congressman Jeff Van Drew is a friend of mine. He really wants to do what's right for the country. Look what this guy did. He switched parties. He switched to the minority party. He's never happened before in the history of our country because he wanted to do the right thing. But unfortunately, there's not enough of him. So, man, I talked another 15 minutes. It's amazing. So we're coming up on a break. Think about what I said about communicating with each other. If you want to communicate with me, call in, and we'll talk to you after the break. You have been listening to the Afternoon Drive Show with Steve Pakradooni on 1210 WPHT. See you after the break.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
Verizon has joined the tech consortium involved in designing new cybersecurity tools built with Anthropic's most powerful AI model, Claude Mythos Preview. Project Glasswing includes most of the largest tech firms, including Apple, Google, and NVIDIA. Verizon says that as part of Project Glasswing, the telecom has been able to test and improve its cybersecurity efforts with new insights to maintain network security. I'm Jason Brooks.
Chuck McDowell here with Red Pocket Mobile. Ever sign up for one of those too good to be true phone deals? 1 minute you're feeling great, then suddenly you're paying over $1,000 a year. Crazy, right? You know who else thinks that's crazy? Red Pocket Mobile.
Right now at Red Pocket, new and existing customers adding a line can get our premium 5G plan for just $5 a month. That's only $60 a year. And choose from all 3 major 5G networks with one locked-in low price at redpocket.com. Redpocket.com.
In Philadelphia, Chase is proud to root for the home team because they're our team too. We cheer from the bleachers and on the sidelines. We cheer for gymnasts and quarterbacks. And with more than 80 local Chase branches and 5,000 nationwide, we are right beside you, Philadelphia. Neighborhood bankers, digital tools, national strength. Chase, make more of what's yours.
JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
D&K Appliances is a family-owned and operated business for 3 generations located in Newtown Square and Flowertown. D&K Appliances offers one-stop shopping, providing delivery, installation, and service of top brands like GE, Thermador, Wolf, Bosch, Speed Queen, KitchenAid, and Whirlpool for your kitchen or laundry. D&K Appliance sales associates are industry experts, supporting customers every step of the way. Visit D&K Appliances, the dependable difference. Newtown Square and Flowertown showrooms, or visit DKappliances.com.
NHL star Matt Martin for American Humane.
Hi, I'm Matt Martin, and in all my years of playing professional hockey, I've gotten my share of bruises and injuries. But for many who really put their lives on the line every day, it's not always the injuries you can see that hurt the most. I'm talking about our veterans. Every single day, 184 veterans are diagnosed with post-traumatic stress, and tragically, 20 take their own lives. When medications and therapy don't help, professionally trained service dogs can. American Humane, serving the U.S. military for over 100 years, has put together a free guide to help veterans obtain these life-saving service animals. If you are a veteran or know a veteran struggling with PTS, please go to AmericanHumane.org for this free, downloadable resource. Let's give our veterans the help they need to win their battle.
For more information, visit AmericanHumane.org.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Auto Group studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got a stranger on the other side of this microphone, that's for sure. A lot of you people haven't heard from me. Unless, I was on Barry Sable's show and Friends on Sunday, a whole bunch. He calls it Friends, but I was, actually helping him out with the co-host and all. It was a great experience, and, here we are now with that. But, yeah, it's a stranger. It's Steve Pakradooni with you on this, what is it? Holidays are messing me up. So today's Tuesday. All day I'm thinking it's Monday. Yes, I thought it was Sunday. Just going to mess me all up, I'm telling you. But happy to be with you on the Drive Time Afternoon Show here on 1210. So, the last segment was talking about reasonable people and having a conversation with everyone. Crazy stuff happened in New Jersey, my state here, and we were talking about criminals. These criminals are in a detention center. Now, they just weren't scooped off the street because, their color of their skin, they were brown or they were black. The guy's looking at me on YouTube. I'm pretty dark, right? It's funny. In my auto repair shop, I'm right off of, a major highway in New Jersey, and a lot of people travel it, and a lot of people get lost. And most of the times they, foreigners walk in and they speak Spanish to me because they think I'm Spanish. But, I'm not just got some dark skin. I'm Italian, Southern Italian. So I look that way. I've never been snatched off the street. Nobody's ever asked me for my papers. But it's pretty funny that they think it's just this. But the people in these detention centers in New Jersey, deportation orders, they have criminal records. They're being told to be picked up. The ICE agents, don't pick people from certain countries. If you really look through when they post, I follow all the social media pages for ICE and all kinds of other government departments, and it's amazing of the people they've picked out throughout the world. And when President Trump said, "Yeah, they don't send us their best," he's true. He's right. Now, I know Greg Stockers would be mad at me. He says, "Stop talking about Trump. You can't be 100% in line with Trump." I'm not. I appreciate what the president is doing. I agree with about 85%, maybe 90% what he's doing. And to me, that's enough, man. If he wants to make silly memes and say stupid things and stuff like that, that's him. That's him. He's successful. He's a billionaire. He got there on that style. Who am I to tell him to change, right? Not my style. I'm generally known as a nice guy. It's a not New Yorker who changed the skyline of New York City. I don't think you can be meek and mild on that. He changed television. 15 years at the top-rated show with The Apprentice. It spun off into other things. Everybody loved him until he ran for office. It's amazing. So I don't buy any of that other nonsense where, they say he's a pedophile and he's Hitler and all this other stuff. I'm sorry. I can't agree to that. And if President Trump would have ran as a Democrat, I'm telling you, he would probably have this still following, but he knew that he could get nowhere in the Democrat Party. He was a Democrat. He flipped parties just like Jeff Van Drew, Congressman Van Drew. I think he realized, he's a smart guy. He's not a dope. He's a smart guy. Realized that he would get nowhere in the Democrat Party. Probably would never got the nomination. We all knew, Hillary was anointed. She was going to be the first woman president. And he just threw a wrench in it, which is great. I loved it. So, but I want to get back to reasonable people. Now, you would assume that the governor of New Jersey and also one of the U.S. Senate members from New Jersey, Andy Kim, would be reasonable people and understand that the first job of government is to provide for the security of the residents of their state and the country. But they would want these criminals that are in the detention center to stay in the detention center. Nope. What did they do? They went out yesterday to an ICE facility, and Justin, I'm pretty sure we have a clip on this one too. Is that clip one here on our show?
Yeah, we have
clip two. Might be
why don't we play that? Set that up for our for our listeners here to see some of the chaos in front of the detention center. You just tell me when it's ready to go, and you can see these are not reasonable people. They don't care about what the citizens of New Jersey. They are just grandstanding because Micah Sherrill's running for president. Good to go? Yeah, so let's play that clip one. Thank you.
Y'all wild.
Yeah, so if you want to, here we go. Yeah, so up on the YouTube chat, I want to explain to our listeners that are not on YouTube. What's this guy doing? Digging up a trench around the side of the detention center here? He's picking up rocks. These are the agitators here, picking up rocks. First off, how do they know to go there? And also on Memorial Day, you can stop this one, Justin. Thank you. It's just crazy on Memorial Day, where you think our government officials would be, at the Veterans Cemetery or talking to some Gold Star family members like we did yesterday here on 1210. No, they're at the detention center, complaining about the conditions of the criminals, that are in there, and demanding to be, enter into a federal building. We have. Remember, say no one's above the law. That was a big thing with Trump. No one's above the law. Well, governor and senator, you're not above the law either. There's a process to get into these centers. Now, they're not denied process. I just can't walk up as a citizen in New Jersey and knock on the door and say, I want to see what's inside that detention center. The senator knows that. The governor knows that. If they would, send the proper paperwork and all, yes, they would get clearance to do that. So instead of honoring our military members who gave their life for their freedoms, so Andy Kim and Mikey Sherrill can run for office, they go out there and they want to protest a detention center for ICE. Now, Matt, I'm pretty sure you went to Harvard, right? I remember correctly?
You do remember correctly, yeah, from my undergraduate degree.
Right. So, I went to Lincoln Tech, so I'm going to put this on you. Would you agree with me, or would you say that every single country has some form of immigration agency that controls who comes in and out of the country, and enforcement, whatever you want to call it? But I mean, being an auto mechanic, it's not off base for me to assume that every other country would have some type of form of immigration agency.
I would assume that's correct, because without sovereignty, you basically don't have an authority to govern yourself internally. I would think that would be a key part of creating a country.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, and I'm kind of being funny here and sarcastic. I'm going to answer a little bit of my own question here, too. So it's funny. In Ireland, right? I'm going to go over to Ireland. I go there. It's really nice here. I think I'm going to hang out here. Guess what happens when you overstay your visa in Ireland? They're coming for you. They know you're in the country. You're out. Guess what else American citizens can't do in Ireland? You have to be, a citizen of Ireland to do. You can't buy land. You can't buy a home. You can't own property. Interesting, right? But America, so bad here. It's horrible. We shouldn't have ICE. Everybody, no one's illegal. The whole thing. But it's funny. Ireland, you would think, it should be pretty easy. And we have a great relationship with them. But they have rules and regulations. And they enforce them. And nobody screams and hollers about it because the reality is they don't have people pouring over a border, coming in, taking jobs, doing this. And more about that. It's not so much about the jobs. To me, it's more about safety. If I'm a criminal, I'm going to go where I'm going to commit a crime in another country, and then, I go to America. They're going to give me here. They're not going to send me back. I just don't think it's smart for us to allow criminals into this country. And then when they have a deportation order, then we have our government officials who swore to uphold the Constitution, demanding they be released. So let's play clip 2 here, Justin, if that's okay with you, if that works with you, with a little bit of our great Senator Andy Kim. Yeah, go ahead and fire that up for me, please. Chaos on Memorial Day, just wrong. Now, from my understanding here, and it's coming a little late, he got pepper sprayed because, instead of the senator saying, listen, you could protest, you could do this, but you can't push against our federal agents, their law enforcement agents, and he should know better. But we know why. We know why he's doing this. We know why he's doing this. This is to get the news plug. This is to get me to talk about him and all that. But I'm going to try to make our listeners understand a different way about this. I'm assuming most agree that, ICE is there for a reason. We have an agency to make sure that our immigration laws that our Congress actually make, and they've been in place for years and years and years. And President Trump, I don't think President Trump has signed an immigration law because, of course, we talked about that earlier. Congress can't, get anything together and agree on anything. But these are laws that, Obama has voted on, Clinton has voted on, everyone has voted on before. All the president is doing is enforcing the laws that are on the books already. Why does that make him a bad guy? So I would ask any person that thinks differently than I do, or reasonable person, you want to call in and tell me why we should not be deporting or detaining and then deporting people who are in our country illegal, that are here illegally, that have committed crimes. I'd love to hear from you. So we're going to come up against a break, but let me give you that number. And the call number is 855-839-1210. We're going to take a little break here. You have been listening to the Afternoon Drive Show on 1210 WPHT with your host, Steve Pac-Man Pakradooni. Talk to you right after the break.
Kale & Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
I am not an activist. I have no aspirations for politics. I'm not angling for Fox News. By the way, when you look at the history of this morning show, the ones in the past or in the present, like the guy that we put out to pasture in Missouri that agree with Trump 100% of the time, you know what their ratings were compared to the three of us right now? The three of us. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. We've beaten them all.
Start your day with Kale & Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
This is the sound of Jack buzz cutting his way to a small fortune. To Jack, every time he cuts his own hair, that's $50 right in his pocket. If Jack sees DIY buzz cuts as a saving strategy, Wells Fargo is right behind him. And with their mobile app, tracking his savings is easy. Oh, ouch. However you make money work, we can work with that.
Mobile carriers' message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Now we're moving into summer, and it's time we find out how brutal the winter weather was to our home. Hey, it's Rich Izzioli. If you're looking for a contractor that can help you with repairs during this time, or maybe you want to get a jump on those renovations, go with my guys, Emmons. They deliver protection, peace of mind, and true craftsmanship. That's why Emmons has always been my go-to contractor for over 10 years in 2 different homes. And they even just remodeled our kids' bathroom. Plus, you're going to get American-made products, American-made roofing products to lifetime warranted Owens Corning roofs built to handle severe weather, siding that elevates and insulates your home, and made in America, windows and doors that blend style and performance, made in America. Emmons has you covered every step of the way. So go to emmonsroofing.com, upgrade your home with confidence, make sure you tell them I sent you, and always go with the company that I go with because I trust them and they've delivered for me each and every time in 2 different homes. That's Emmons Roofing, emmonsroofing.com.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Elvis, gotta love it. Guys, I'm thinking I'm never getting invited back now. I know Stocker is not super happy when he hears Elvis coming over here over the airways. So, yeah, probably my last show. It's been great working with you guys, though. It's been fantastic. And, actually, Matt, I forgot that was part of the disclaimer that Linda had sent me that I have to play at least one Elvis song while I'm on the air. So we got that out of the way. Hey, listen, Greg can't get me out of the studio, lock myself in, so I'm good. Good stuff here. And what's great about Matt too is, why did Rich give you such a hard time, man? You're the best thing ever. Real quick, he gives me some numbers here. The Obama administration deported 3.6 million people. Trump administration term 1.2 million people. And Congress, we talk about why they can't agree on anything. No disrespect to Linda and Matt. I love them both. 31% of the House is lawyers, and 31% of the House and 47% of the Senate are lawyers. Yeah, no wonder why nothing gets done, right? I forgot what Matt Rooney told me. He said, never ask a question you don't know the answer to. And he said, basically what they say is, if you can't agree on anything, don't agree on anything. And I say that right now. If you can't agree with what they're offering you, don't agree on anything at all. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that in Congress. I mean, clearly, I'm getting a little off topic here, but clearly the Congress, it's a Republican Congress. We have a House, and we control the Senate, and they're not passing anything that President Trump had asked. They did the big, beautiful bill, which was great. I love that. Save America Act. We're not going to pass a simple thing, to say you must be a U.S. citizen, show proof of it, to vote in our elections. Is that crazy? Is that a crazy thing to ask? And these guys won't pass it. I'm going to go back to social media with that, where I had a discussion with someone that I went to grade school with. Brilliant woman. She's does very well. She's in an industry that's, basically man-driven. She's made her headroads in it. She does a great job. She rides a Harley. I ride a Harley. I used to ride a Harley. I'm only down to one eye now. I'm not allowed to ride a Harley anymore. So we have a lot in common. Deep faith, the whole thing. But we had a discussion on social media that she was against the SAVE Act because women wouldn't be able to vote. She literally believed the nonsense that women can't get ID. Now, I must have married a genius because my wife, Gina, right? Maybe, well, she married me. She may not be a genius. Maybe she only has one eye. She instantly got a real ID in New Jersey, which is hard to do. She knows exactly where her birth certificate is. She knows exactly where the marriage certificate is. She has a Social Security card, and she has a passport. And guess what? She's got a voter ID card. So I'm telling you, I must have married a genius. I'm thank the Lord for that. How insulting is women that they literally they're telling you you're too stupid to get an ID. You can't get one. That to me blows my mind. Also, the same things with minorities. Yes, maybe there are some. I mean, have to be very old. You know, like Mrs. Jones, who's 95 years old, who may not have a proper birth certificate. She was born in the South. Maybe she was, she wasn't born in a hospital or something like that. I'm going to take her word for it. She could vote. You guys okay, Matt? And Justin, if Mrs. Jones, 95 years old and doesn't have a birth certificate, you okay if she votes?
Yeah, I don't care. She can vote.
Yeah,
By the way, to your point, I'm looking at polling data right now. Pew Research says that 83% of Americans polled favor photo ID requirements for voting. Gallup has 84%. Reuters has 77%. So this is not a controversial stance, I don't think, by any estimation.
No. But, okay. So what I don't understand is because they don't want to get rid of the filibuster, but then the people, if it's polling that high, the Democrats should be calling their U.S. senators and say, hey, Democrat U.S. senator in my district, like I've emailed Cory Booker and Andy Kim have never gotten a response back.
Shocker.
Yeah. And just say, hey, pass the SAVE Act. We just want American citizens to vote in our elections. Just say, I'm going to use Ireland. Can I get on a plane, fly to Ireland, and vote in their elections? They think I'm nuts. I'd be in jail. God knows if I would get out in Ireland. No. Same thing with Italy. You could become an Italian citizen or any country. Some of them are punishable by law if you voted in their elections. One I was reading might have had firing squad too, but that could be a communist country, but Greg would like that. But yeah, it's insanity. It really, really, really is insanity. And so these senators and Congress members are losing sight of what's the people in their districts who sent them there to represent them. And that's what happened to Thomas Massie. I got just another minute or two, and I have a different take on Massie than most. What the difference was, yes, President Trump had heavy influence on him losing his primary, but ultimately President Trump doesn't vote in his district. The voters in his district are the ones who sent him packing in overwhelmingly. Because what Massie forgot was that the people who sent them in his district overwhelmingly voted for President Trump. I think it was like a 70-point win. And this was 3 times that they voted that for President Trump then. President Trump did actually better than Massie did in his own district in 2020. And it's just, he really, you can't get in there. People, okay, we're going to vote you in. For a Congress member, we want you to do the will of your district, and then you go against the president. And clearly the president's agenda is what the voters in his district wanted, especially the Republican voters. As a Republican primary. And he was trying to push his own agenda. It's a team sport, man. I got to tell our Congress members, it's a team sport. If we send you to represent us in Congress in D.C., you better be listening. And I think some of these other Congress members did hear some message because that guy who was very popular. Listen, I have those young guys I was talking about in our Republican organization loved him. And I love his idea of I understand why he would vote against the spending bill because he's a purist. If we don't have the money, we can't spend it. but unfortunately there's realities in things. But he stepped too far in a lot of different things, and that's why he's gone. He lost sight of the people who put him there. And that should be happening to these Congress members and Democrat senators who refuse to vote yes on a simple thing as having to provide proof of citizenship of this country to vote in our elections. So, Justin, what time am I out here? Yeah, let's play the clip too. Yeah. Oh yeah. This too. So if this guy just lost for Congress, but play that Massey clip. Clip 9, please.
I will not rule out anything, and right now I'm not going to rule in anything. Look, I've spent the last 5 days on my farm with my grandkids and my cattle and my peach trees, and it's a pretty nice life. I don't know if I want to screw that up again. I've been in Congress 14 years fighting. Every hour that passes, I get decompressed a little bit more. It's like coming up from the bottom of the ocean. And I'll take some time and decide what's next. But I think I will stay engaged in some way or shape. Maybe it's from the outside.
That's amazing that this guy just got creamed. When I say creamed, an incumbent Congress member got rolled over. I forget the numbers, but I think it was at least by 10% in a primary. Yes, President Trump put his finger on the scale very heavily. Lots of money spent by, some Jewish PACs and a few other things. And there's a reason for that. But still, ultimately, listen, a lot of they spent, Harris spent what, $2 billion or whatever, and she didn't get elected. But this guy's out of touch, and he thinks he's going to run for president now. Nope, it's not the will of the people. This guy shot himself in the foot, and you got to remember, when we send you there, the voters, the action, we make the rules then. You have to listen to us, or we are going to vote you out. And unfortunately, that 535 aren't doing so much of that. So, well, it does look like I'm coming up on the top of the break here. You have been listening to the afternoon show on WPHT 1210. Steve Pack, your host. I'm going to catch you right after the 4 o'clock hour now.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-329-1010. That's 1-800-329-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-329-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Heart disease and stroke can be catastrophic. They're leading causes of death, disability, and healthcare spending in the U.S., yet they're largely preventable. Alarmingly, heart disease and stroke are taking a toll on middle-aged adults 35 to 64, with over 800,000 deaths and hospitalizations in 2016. Million Hearts is a national initiative focused on preventing 1 million heart attacks, strokes, and other cardiovascular events by 2022. Coordinated actions by Million Hearts partners in communities, healthcare, and public health will keep people healthy, optimize care, and improve outcomes in populations at risk. Everyone has a part to play. Focus on the ABCs of heart health. A. Aspirin use when appropriate. B. Blood pressure control. C. Cholesterol management. And S. Smoking cessation. To learn more, visit cdc.gov/vital signs.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Dr. Anthony Fauci. 6 years later, millions of people are dead, trillions of dollars were spent, our civil liberties were shredded by mandates and lockdowns. The man at the center of it all has never faced a single consequence. He's a doctor. He only wants to do what's best for you. Doctors have egos. Doctors like to make a lot of money. And when you've been in charge of whatever you've been in charge of going back almost 4 decades, you start to walk around like your you-know-what doesn't stink, and anybody that questions you is beneath you. Remember the arrogance of this guy?
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hey, Dawn here. Get ready to ride in style this summer with that new or certified luxury vehicle you've been wanting. My friends from Piazza Premium Automobiles are here to assist you in your unique vehicle search. The Piazza Premium family, featuring dealerships across Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey. Find your Mercedes, Benz, BMW, Porsche, Infiniti, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, Jaguar, or Land Rover. PiazzaPremiumAutos.com, Piazza, PiazzaPremiumAutos.com. Tell Dawn sent you.
I'm just a kid. I'm 6. I'm 9. I'm 4.5. And I've got asthma. You know just how upset I can get when I have an asthma attack.
And I know that you want to do all that you can do to help me.
But you might not know about all the different stuff that can make me have an asthma attack. Or all the simple things you can do to fight my asthma. You can fight it with a bear. You can fight it with a duck.
You can fight it with a wrench.
Put my teddy bear in the freezer to wipe out dust mites.
Dry off rubber duckies and fix leaks to get rid of mold.
'Cause mold can start my asthma attacks too.
Discover other simple ways to prevent an asthma attack. Visit noattacks.org. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. EPA, the Ad Council, and this station.
Thanks for doing all you can to help me out.
'Cause I don't want to feel like a fish with no water.
Picture streams in our community. That's where our kids play, and dogs splash. And some of these streams provide the water we drink. But is the water in these streams clean and safe? The truth is, for most local streams, no one knows. That's a problem. One the Isaac Walton League can help you solve with the Clean Water Challenge. For almost 50 years, the Isaac Walton League of America has helped people just like you test the water in local streams, clean up pollution, and protect healthy waters. Today, the Isaac Walton League has an ambitious new goal: engage volunteers across the country to test 100,000 more streams for pollution. You can protect clean water in our community by joining the Clean Water Challenge. To get involved, visit iwla.org. That's iwla.org.
Philabundance is the region's largest hunger relief organization, serving more than 90,000 people each week. Almost a third are children. Help feed those in need at philabundance.org.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
You know, that kind of stuff. So good stuff. So, but we are back. You are back. You're listening to Pack. Pack is back on 1210 WPHT, the afternoon show. This is big stuff. Mom, I made the big leagues. It's unbelievable. We're here in studio because we don't phone it in. That's for sure. So we talked a little bit about getting involved. I talked in the beginning of the show, myself getting involved. I preach it. I talk. I go to a lot of different organizations, and I always say, get involved, get involved, get involved. And anyone can get involved. And our next guest that's going to call in, have him on in a minute or two here, he's the perfect example of getting involved. Our guest yesterday, Councilman Del Barolo, told a story about why he became a council member. And it was over a traffic light. Right on his street, at the end of his street in Washington Township, Gloucester County, New Jersey. They just refused to put a traffic light. And I got to tell you, there were so many fatal accidents. There was at least 3 or 4 accidents a week, and there were so many fatal ones. So another resident of Washington Township, who was way more known than I am, okay, great, was way more known than I am. He's, been involved in our community. He's done such great work with charities and all kinds of things. But he had a small problem with government, and he wasn't happy about some stuff. So even though he knows, the hits he's going to take, they're going to drag him through the mud, the whole thing, he said he had enough, and he still wants to give back to the community. He's running for a Gloucester County Commissioner. So my guest, on the phone right now, Martino Cartier. Martino, thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is great. So set you up where I really just want to hear your story. I always let my guests tell their story. First off, their community service, what you're doing, how you get involved. I know you do a ton of charity work. And then if you could tell us why you're running, why you decided to put your name on a ballot, what pushed you to that point. So I'm just going to let you talk.
Sure, thanks. So, well, let's see. I opened our business here in Washington Township in the early 2000s, and now we've grown to one of the largest salons in the country. Back in 2010, I met a young girl named Kiki, and she was denied by a very large nonprofit due to red tape for a wish. She had cancer, childhood cancer, and she was also denied by a big national nonprofit for a wig, free hair replacement. And when that happened, Freeholder in the story brought her to me. Her mother had reached out to his office for help. And quickly we transformed her into looking like she didn't have cancer. 7 months later, granted her wish to meet Justin Bieber. Back in 2012, we had already started the charity for a couple of years. And then a week later, she passed away. And I think that was the pivotal moment in my life where I realized, what you do with your time, talent, and treasure is what defines you as a human being. And from there, I just realized that, that's kind of like the recipe to feel good, right? Is giving back and helping people. And so I got involved with everything from veterans to domestic violence to minorities and just to everyday people that needed help. And it just ran from there. So fast forward, during COVID, obviously everybody had a hard time that had a business and even didn't have a business. But for businesses, it was really tough because in New Jersey, for example, there were no restrictions. If you had a business and it was COVID, you couldn't go in your building whether you were a tenant or not, and you had to pay full rent. Mm-hmm. Murphy really destroyed that. And a lot of my friends that have businesses made deals with their landlords, but at the time, mine didn't want to make a deal. And looking back, it was meant to be. So that plummeted me to look for a property, to be able to purchase it, to be my own landlord, and come out of COVID and try to reinvent everything. So we kept the same business going and the same charity, wigsandwishes.org. And we brought it to 122 Salina Road. And my lawyer, God rest his soul, he passed away right after Thanksgiving. He believed in the cause, believed in the mission, and fought so hard. And we got all of our variances. And then after we got them, there was all this dirty politics. Like, okay, fine, you can build, but you can't open. You can open, but you can't use. You can use, but you can't have parking, or all this crazy stuff. And I just sat back and I was like, how does the average person go about life dealing with these people? For example, a fence, a pool, a shed, like all this crazy stuff. There's bigger things in life we need to be worrying about. And anyway, I just got hit one day with like 22 violations for the most outlandish stuff. Like you can't have any ornamentation in your front yard, any. A Blessed Mother, a bird bath, a St. Francis statue, nothing. Nothing can be in your front yard. And I just called it selective enforcement. If you're going to tell me that I can't have it in my front yard, and you tell 40,000 other people that they can't have it, and I don't want you to do that to them, but I also don't want to be a victim of selective enforcement. So we filed a federal lawsuit against them, and it was almost at least 2-year fight. We're pushing more than 2 years, but we're settling now, and everything worked out. But that's because I had tenacity and I fought for what is right. So when you ask me why am I running, I'm running because I want to fight for what is right. And I think to summarize that, I'll just talk about yesterday. I know my colleagues that are running together to try to make New Jersey, South Jersey, a better place. Catherine and Barb, we used our time and our talent and left our families, and we hit the streets and we honored veterans. Yet the governor of New Jersey was too busy pulling a PR stunt up in North Jersey, worrying about ICE and all this stuff. And you picked a somber day that we're supposed to memorialize and remember those that fought and are still fighting for this great nation. And I think that's just a prime example of how politics are so just corrupt. And we don't need politicians, career politicians running, our state, and definitely not our county. I mean, I tell everybody, look, I'm running to make our county a better place and hopefully inspire others to do the same for their county, right? Because I can't help what Trump does. I have no say in abortion or the wall or ICE, but I have a say in your tax dollars, in my tax dollars, in my mother's tax dollars, in my son's tax dollars, in my clients and my patients and my neighbors and my friends, and even Democrats and unaffiliated and independents. This is a bipartisan position where you just put common sense first. So I think that kind of sums up what you asked.
Fantastic. I love it. And that's perfect. And it's exactly why people should get involved. I started the show. I have a tagline. You may not heard at the meeting or whatever, is that, I'm an actionist. I'm not an activist. We make things happen. And you are an actionist. You have made things happen. As in the charity world, it's amazing. Your covers of magazines, all kinds of stuff. You do phenomenal things with Wigs and Wishes. And now you're taking those talents and bringing it to government for common sense. I will say this, and also too, the local government in the municipal government in Washington Township work with you too, to come to some common sense solutions to some of the issues that you were having. That's what
the present government.
Yeah.
Yes, the present government.
The present.
The past two did not. And when I tell you, Steve, I got an email, and I'm just going to be like metaphoric. I got an email that says you're not allowed to have a red car in your front yard.
Right.
I took a picture of a blue car, and I said, the car's blue. It's not red. They wrote back and said, okay, we're going to take out red, and we're going to say, now you can't have a blue.
Right.
And it's all in email. So when you see those emails and you're in a federal court and you're showing that to a judge, it just shows that if the average person doesn't fight back, which they shouldn't have to, because those things shouldn't happen. But I was in there one time at zoning, and I saw a senior citizen come in, and there was a storm, and her fence came down, and she wanted a permit because she hired a fence company, and they said, you need a permit. And she said, why? I've lived here for 40 years. Why do I need a permit to put the same fence back up? And they wanted this senior citizen to pay for a survey. And anyone who's had a survey knows it's at least $4,000.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, they want her to spend $4,000 to put the same fence up the storm took down. Okay, if that's the ordinance, change the ordinance to common sense. It's these little things that people don't realize, that your vote matters because you're voting to put these people in power for something that could affect you years from now, meaning a storm that takes down your fence.
Right. And that's, I always preach that, a good government, common sense government. Our guys in Washington Township, of course, have put that because they're business owners, they're in law enforcement, all these type of things. And they understand that, real estate. And it's important that we get back to, instead of the quote unquote typical politician in office, where we get people like yourself, people like Peter, people like our mayor, Anthony Delapieta, who are involved with the community and give it back to the community. It's funny, could you explain what a county commissioner does? Or it might be slightly different from Pennsylvania, New Jersey to wherever, but just kind of explain what they do and how important they are. And most people have no idea who they are.
That is so accurate, Steve. And I encourage you to Google it. Like, don't trust my voice. You can Google it for yourself, because for my county, if you ask ChatGPT, what does a county commissioner do? And in Gloucester County, how do our taxes rate? ChatGPT is going to tell you that in America, there are 3,100 counties, 3,100. Gloucester County's taxes are the highest, 24 out of 3,100. They're also going to tell you that our administrator makes more than the vice president of the United States. They're going to tell you that he makes more than the governor of New Jersey. It's also going to tell you that he's the highest paid administrator in the United States. That's what ChatGPT is going to tell you. It's also going to tell you that a commissioner is what audits the budget, right? We have this group of commissioners, and for 2 weeks in February, we come up with a budget. We make sure there's not, I'm speaking for myself. I can't speak for what commissioners do in general, but you're supposed to make sure there's common sense decisions with the budget, which is funded through taxpayers in one of these 3,100 counties across the country. So when you have wasteful spending, that's what causes taxes to go up. So, for example, in Gloucester County, taxes went up just a couple months ago. And shortly after that, they announced that they're going to reassess our houses yearly when it used to be every 8 to 10 years. So what happens is it's almost, and I hate to use this, and I'm sure I'm going to get my butt whooped for it, but it's almost like Iran. When you have the same people running the same thing for 40 some years, they feel like this is my opinion, they feel like they're invincible. And they feel like they can do whatever they want. So whatever county you're in, you're listing in, you're in Pennsylvania, you're in Philadelphia, you have a county, you have commissioners that used to be called freeholders, and they make decisions on budgets. Budgets are what is 50%, well, almost 50%, probably a third of your taxes, because 50% for us is school, and then the rest gets divided up between the rest and the county. But the county makes big decisions that you have no control over unless you trust your commissioners. So most people, to your point, Steve, don't know what a commissioner does.
Right.
And that's why their taxes are high, because they don't know, then they don't vote, and then things get out of control and they snowball. And that's what has happened in our county. I'm sure you can agree to that.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's just sad. And at the end of the day, when I started this business, everybody said, oh, this is never going to work. You know, this is before social media. It's before all these things, right? And just a few weeks ago, we were on the NASDAQ billboard, and I humbly say this, awarded as top salon in America. Actually, I want to say it was globally, I believe. I was still so in shock. And top humanitarian on the NASDAQ billboard. And again, I say that with humility. I'm just saying, I was told you're not going to be able to make this big dream you had when you got out of high school, and you're not going to be able to make this charity is going to change the lives of 25,000 Americans battling cancer every year. And we did, because I had tenacity and I didn't give up, and I used common sense. And that's the common denominator, right? That's what I think and feel and believe. And I think your posture is the same with mine and Barbara and Catherine. And by the way, you know, Catherine is an amazing businesswoman. She knows how to run a town. Barbara, she's a veteran. She's a nurse. And, you know, we have a good ticket for us, I believe, to bring common sense back in, take out the wasteful spending, and take out friends and family, this and that, because at the end of the day, none of that matters. You can't run a business with friends and family. If I didn't charge all friends and family, you wouldn't have a business, right? So you have to treat it like it is a business. And you know, I sit on the trustee of a church that's a large church, and I always tell them, you have to realize in a tiny aspect, this still is a business, not a profitable one where somebody makes money off of people, but you have to make sure that you can afford the electric and the snow removal and the grass cutting and the mulching in the spring and when the roof leaks and those kind of things. Like, those things matter. And if you don't budget them right, that's how businesses fail. And there's a reason why 30 years later, we're still standing. Have we had hard times and great times? Of course. But hard times and great times and still standing versus not still standing is a big difference.
Absolutely.
And common sense matters. And that's what I think not only this county, but this state, but this nation is missing. And if we could just bring common sense back, like again, I'll spin the whole governor of New Jersey story that I shared. If she wanted to go protest against ICE, this is America. You have the right to do that. But don't do it on Memorial Day.
Right.
Don't do it on a day where 1.4 million service members have given their lives for this great nation over 250 years. Honor those families. Right. You want to fight politics? Go ahead and do it. You want to spin your narrative? Do it. But don't do it on Memorial Day.
No, Martino, you're 110% correct about that. That was a publicity stunt with it. So you're a perfect example, again, like I mentioned before, about, listen, this is what we need. We need a quality person. We don't need someone. And how they run at the county level, I ran for county commissioner in 2022. they sent out text messages that myself and my running mate were going to take away the women's right for an abortion, which we don't cover that. They pull at the heartstrings. It's crazy.
I'm sorry, but we don't have a say. And I hate interrupting you, but this is the problem.
Right.
These career politicians, the Iran of New Jersey, has to run on bashing everybody else, spewing lies. They can't run on their integrity. They can't run on their achievements. They can't run on what they have accomplished, because what have they accomplished?
Right.
That's the problem. So to your point, yes, as commissioners, we don't have a say in that, nor do we want to be involved in that in this position.
Right.
In this position, we want to use our common sense, and all three of us have business smarts, that we want to stop the wasteful spending, stabilize the tax budget, get rid of an administrator that makes more than the vice president of the United States. Okay, let's just do common sense. Pretend none of us are affiliated with any party. We don't care about the party, because truthfully, we care about common sense anyway, so that's not a far-fetched comment. If I told you that there's a county, one county out of 3,100, it's located in South Jersey, where peach trees used to be rampant, and people call it the Garden State, people call it the Garbage State, people call it all kinds of stuff. If I told you that there was this one county that had 24 towns or whatever it is, and the administrator makes more than the vice president of the United States, who has to fly to Qatar and Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, would you think that I was a Netflix sci-fi movie?
Yeah, I think it'd be like, no way, this guy's office rocker, but it's true. It's true. He's
and
not.
He has a 5-year contract, by the way, and he's only 1 year in. So, that's going to be a battle. But at the end of the day, the goal is to educate people in Philadelphia that don't live in Gloucester County and all over this great nation that commissioners matter, because it's where your tax dollars go.
Right.
And if you don't grab a hold of it, if you don't draw it back, it's going to go, well, it's already gone rogue here, but I'm sure it's gone rogue in many other counties and many other states across the country. And you just can't, I do a podcast every Thursday called Hijack Life. And one of our teachers says, stop bitching, start blessing. So I'm going to say, stop bitching, start voting.
Yeah,
right?
I love it. Yeah, that's me. Stop complaining. Get out there and make some action. Be an actionist. And, you're the epitome of that. So that's so great. So to our listeners, the reason why I had Martino call in today is to say, if this guy was in your district, how do you not vote for him? How do you not vote for a quality individual who understands budgets, understand he is set up for the job? But unfortunately, our elections have become popularity contests, or, again, we Republicans, we're going to push grandma off of the cliff. We don't care if she dies. We don't want to pay for her medicines. That's insane. We don't feel that way. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I spent 2 hours at an assisted living place yesterday, speaking to people who their family wasn't with them. I was with them. The family can't be there 24/7. And I go 6-7 times throughout the year, and it's just part of my whole, again, I told you, if you don't know how to give, you don't know how to live. And I love giving back. And what you're saying, what I'm saying is common sense.
Right.
When I went to school, after high school, I was taught in business school, don't ever talk about politics, abortion, or religion in your business. Don't ever.
Right.
We talk about those three things all the time. And it's almost like the 80s. We all talk about it. We can agree to disagree. We make fun of each other. We laugh. I feel like I'm back in the 80s.
Right.
And this is not, even though I'm running on the Republican ticket, it's Democrats' tax dollars too. It's independent and unaffiliated
and
tax dollars too.
If you think about it.
Mm-hmm. And unregistered, thank you. And unregistered for me and Barbara and Catherine that we're running for. And it's not because people don't want it. It's because they don't know. And to your point again, they don't know what a commissioner is. And when I tell people in here that our administrator makes more than the vice president and the governor of New Jersey, they say there's no way. And I say, Google it. Why I'm doing it here? Google it. Yeah. And they Google it and they go, and I'm so blessed that people come here, and we're a knit community even when somebody comes in for the first time, and they feel warm and welcome. So we're able to have that. It's okay to disagree, but with this, they're not disagreeing. They'll disagree about Trump. They'll disagree about ICE. They'll disagree about the wall, but they don't disagree about this because this hits their wallet.
Yeah.
And it's just common sense. I hate to abuse that word, but
that's true. So
that's what it comes down to.
Martino, I am up against a hard break. I appreciate all your time. More importantly, how can people help you out with your charities? And then I'll do the political end for you, okay?
Well, thanks. Listen, so we don't turn anyone away. No red tape. If you have cancer, we don't ask if you're Republican or Democrat. We ask what kind of cancer you have. You can just go to wigsandwishes.org if you want to donate, or if you have cancer, we're here. We do free hair replacement to make you look like you don't have cancer, and we grant wishes for kids as well. So, we're here all the time.
I love it. Thank you, Martino. Great call.
Steve,
you're the best.
I appreciate you.
Good luck. I'm going to be out there working hard for you. Have a great rest of your afternoon.
You do the same. Thanks a lot, Steve. Appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you. So, listeners, that's my whole thing. There are quality people out there. Greg Stocker, they're not all politicians aren't scumbags. Martino's not a scumbag. He just wants to make a difference. Now, he's not elected yet, so he's not a politician. He won't become one either. The same thing like our caller yesterday, Peter Del Borello, our mayor in our town. Quality people. Dawn says it all the time. All elections are local. And if you start putting quality people back, take the negativity out of politics, go back to what I said, let's have a discussion. I mean, listen, if you're a lifelong Democrat and you see Martino is running on a Republican ticket, are you not going to pull the lever for this guy? He has no motivation to do this. He doesn't need the money. I mean, first off, the commissioners, I don't even think they get a stipend or whatever they call it. It's probably less than $10,000 a year. But you don't want a quality guy, a business owner, a man that's done so much for charity. You don't want someone like that, looking at the budgets at your county level. That's what you need. And they're out there. There's tons of great candidates out there, and you just really need to research it and vote for them. But you need to turn out the vote. So we are at the half hour here. I got to take a hard break. You have been listening to WPHT Afternoon Show with your host today, Steve Pakradooni. We'll catch you right after the break.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000.
Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief took care of Eric's problem.
And now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
The working families of Laona Labor's District Council of Pennsylvania, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia are proud contributors to all aspects of growth in this great city. The Labor's District Council provides safe, well-trained, productive workers who enable projects to be done on time and under budget. We appreciate our signatory contractors and their commitment to fairness and equality. Laborers, we're building a better future today.
Brought to you by the Laborers District Council Licit Fund.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
If you're struggling to hear conversations, TV, or the people you love, now there's an easier, more affordable solution without spending thousands. Audion Hearing makes high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98 with free shipping and dedicated one-on-one support in the comfort of your own home. No doctor's offices, no pressure. Clearer hearing delivered right to your door. Join over 1 million happy customers hearing life more clearly. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Red Pocket Mobile.
Verizon has joined the tech consortium involved in designing new cybersecurity tools built with Anthropic's most powerful AI model, Claude Mythos Preview. Project Glasswing includes most of the largest tech firms, including Apple, Google, and NVIDIA. Verizon says that as part of Project Glasswing, the telecom has been able to test and improve its cybersecurity efforts with new insights to maintain network security. I'm Jason Brooks.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-384-9393. That's 800-384-9393.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
In Philadelphia, Chase is proud to root for the home team because they're our team too. We cheer from the bleachers and on the sidelines. We cheer for gymnasts and quarterbacks. And with more than 80 local Chase branches and 5,000 nationwide, we are right beside you, Philadelphia. Neighborhood bankers, digital tools, national strength. Chase, make more of what's yours.
JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Living here is about more than just the headlines. It's the new restaurant opening in Fishtown. It's the playoff energy at the bank. It's the festivals that make your neighborhood feel like home.
KYW News Radio brings you the pulse of the Delaware Valley. From service journalism that solves problems to stories that celebrate our culture. We cover the life you're actually living.
Authentic, local, factual. KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news source.
Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Now back to the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
This is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Man, this is great, man. I'm going to just listen to the whole song there. I mean, it's Justin. This is great.
I mean, it is only a minute long, so we
yeah,
could just
my God, it's great. Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah, I love it. What a talent. What a talent. And it's a little now you ain't going to make me have to tell this story, Justin, with this song with Pink Floyd, and I'll get back to what we were talking about. So, a huge Pink Floyd fan. And I knew his politics were getting a little crazy. And I had the opportunity to go out to Desert Storm, or Desert Trip it was. Desert Trip. It's like Coachella, but it was this big rock concert. And it was The Who and Pink Floyd, right? And it was 3 days of rock and roll. It was great. Paul McCartney. It was unbelievable. So The Who was saying it was so hard to work with these guys because they should have closed with The Who. But, Pink Floyd went through Roger Waters, was just too difficult to deal with. They said, okay, no problem. Well, they could go last. So this is 2016. You got Trump running the whole thing. And we were hoping he wouldn't get too political. So it was going great. First part of the the Who came on before he did, and I want to say we were exhausted. The Who literally wore us out. The amount of sound coming off of that stage and just how they were playing, it was unbelievable. So we were pretty wiped out after the Who. Floyd comes on, calms us down. It was beautiful. The sky was as bright as could be. Full moon. I don't know how Desert Trip pulled that off. I guess they planned it around when the moon would be. We're out in California at the time for this, and Floyd's doing it. It's great, all of it. His first set was fantastic. I'm like, oh, great. We're going to get away. He's not going to get political because they asked him not to do it.
Yeah.
Last set, yeah. Here comes the big flying pig with Trump all over it, and he started. And let me tell you, that place emptied out. It's actually it worked out better that the Who went first, that Roger Walters was so hard to work with, you know what I mean, that the Who just agreed, you could go last, it's fine, because at the end of it, he was singing to empty stands because people just did not want to hear it. And it's funny, we had bought the tickets for Desert Trip, and then he was coming to Philadelphia a few months later. I think it was in December. I had purchased tickets for that, and I talked to I think it was Ticketmaster or the Spectrum or wherever I bought, or Wells Fargo at the time, and I said, I just want my money back. I said, I'm not going to pay to hear this guy bash politics. Now, if it would have been the other way around, I would feel bad for the people who do not support President Trump. When you go to these concerts and you want to be entertained, you don't want to hear their political views. And I would feel bad if we go to a concert and they're praising President Trump, because there may be a lot of people in there, so I can never understand it. But anyway, it was an experience that I'll never forget. Even with the end being ruined, there was only 2 songs at the end of it. It was just amazing to see him singing "Dark Side of the Moon" with the moon over us. It was great. It was great stuff. What a talent, though. I really wish they would just entertain us. Same thing. You bring your car to me. I'm not going to tell you anything about my politics unless you want to hear it, but I'm going to fix your car, fix it right, and give it back to you. I'm sure you don't want to hear about me. So anyway, that's our experience with Pink Floyd. Still listen to it, though. I won't go to his concerts, but I still listen to it. It's amazing. The Who they're all not touring. Roger Daltrey is actually coming back and doing an acoustical set over the summer, and I think I'm going to purchase tickets for him, but all he does is play music, so it's great. So you guys just listened to Martino before the break, and we talked about a quality candidate. We talked about regular people getting involved. I have a little bit of a knack of getting some people involved and helping him out, working him out, and getting him through the process, because like I said, I've been through the process. I've been ran through the mud. My wife has been mentioned in negative campaign ads. Could you imagine that? It's insane. It was, it's funny. She took a government job that she really didn't want. She was just there to help out, but they actually used it in a negative campaign ad. And they do it so good people don't run. The Dems operate a whole lot differently than the Republicans. But if we fight through this, and I'm asking all the voters out there, I know there's basically, Philadelphia radio station, we got a huge New Jersey audience, but if you live in PA, and I know you have friends and family out here in New Jersey, where we live in Gloucester County and all of Jersey, but if you live in Gloucester County, if you have friends that live in Gloucester County, please tell them, hey, give Martino a look. Give that ticket a look. It's Martino Cartier. He's a great guy. Bob McCormick is running for commissioner, and Catherine Falcone also, and they all bring something to the table. Their experience, their life experience, will help the county government to make for good government. So check them out. Check them out, please. Do your research on your candidates here in Pennsylvania too. We're a little later on. We're going to talk probably the last hour about Stacey Garrity and the candidates for governor here in PA. I'm going to give you some statistics and tell you what's happening. So, but there's a funny story that I'd like to get back out here to take a little bit of the serious away. It's a really interesting. We're going to play the clip first. So that's clip 15. If you want to roll that one, Justin, thank you. So we got a drunk New Zealander. He broke free from police. He climbed over the marble sculptures at Rome's Trevi Fountains. It's coming up on the YouTube chat now. This is amazing. So this guy drunk jumps in. He's swimming around the Trevi Fountains, just swimming around it. Thinks it's great. Doesn't appear to be taking any of the coins out of it because I think that's bad luck. But just jumps in. What makes you think? First off, how drunk do you have to be to do that? You know. So he jumps in. He's floating. He's doing a backstroke. That's great.
I was a little worried at first. He stayed in that belly down position for a few seconds longer than I would have liked.
Right? Yeah.
It's not a great idea to swan dive into shallow water.
Right.
He's lucky he's all right.
You're right. This didn't break his neck, but so it's crazy. So he's drunk. The whole thing. Police get him now. And they arrest him. And of course, he's going to get locked up. He's going to be thrown in jail. Now, I'm thinking, is the governor of Rome, the governor, well, there's no governor of Italy, but just say, if it was states in Rome and Rome was a state, if it was their states in Italy and Rome was a state, would the governor of Rome come out and demand that he be, released from the detention center and then allow him to walk our streets and vote in our elections? Do we want this guy voting in our elections? I mean... I've been to the Trevi Fountain. I don't think I would jump in it. It's crazy. It's crazy, but I know it's funny, and I'm just trying to put a spin on it to think, come on, people, reasonable people, which we talked about. Do you think it's reasonable? It's reasonable to have criminals released from detention centers because President Trump's, because Trump is in office now. Never had a problem with ICE before. If you remember, Tom Holden was given whatever the presidential medal, I don't know the correct name of it, sorry, by Obama. Now he works for a different president, and all of a sudden he's the worst guy in the world. ICE agents are horrible people. Krasner's going to lock them up if they break the laws in the city. Never says it about drug dealers or criminals. It's just nuts. Come on. Let's get to common ground on this. Some people that I love dearly, dearly, and they agree that we should abolish ICE and crazy things like that only because it's President Trump. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. We just can't have that. Think. I always tell people, think what's best for our country, what's best for our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and releasing criminals into our country and having our elected officials in front of ICE detention centers pulling stunts like this. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to let our listeners in on a little secret. Tell you this. Mikey Sherrill is the governor of New Jersey. She has the most, she's basically the governor of New Jersey has the most power in the country for a state. It holds, that office holds a lot of power. She makes a lot of decisions. She does not need a legislature or bills or laws or anything. You don't think that they have a direct line to the president? Pick up the phone, call the president and say, hey, this is what's happening in our community. We have a problem with this detention center. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's not true, but I don't like it. And we're going to take a look at this. I think it'd be okay. If you remember President Trump's first term, Governor Murphy actually went to the White House, sat in the Oval Office with the president because New Jersey's a state of 9 million people or 9.5 million. And he sat and the president said, Governor Murphy, what can I do for you for the state of New Jersey? You're a very dense state. With COVID, it would be a problem. And the governor of New Jersey said, well, we appreciate the help from the federal government, and they worked out things. Those lines exist. She's the governor of New Jersey. I'm sure she can get a hold of somebody in the federal government. And Andy Kim is a U.S. senator, but he chose to do that. He didn't choose to, call the president. Come on, call the president. Say, hey, something's going on here. Let's check this out. But no, it's all set up. It's all grandstanding. So again, it goes back to what's more important. They're pulling at your heartstrings. They're going, oh, look, these horrible people, these horrible ICE agents, horrible President Trump. He's treating these people inhumanely and all this. And most likely that's not the case. Just like the lies that Trump had people in, kids in cages. And the lies that he was colluding with Russia and all. Come on, man. Again, we're smarter than this. We are way smarter than this to fall for the nonsense. Let's look what's really going on, what's best for our country, and again, our reasonable people. Please, I'm telling them, nobody's called in to tell me that they think that criminals should be walking our streets. Let's get back to some common ground. Let's stop worrying about personalities and popularity when we elect people, and let's move on and pick good candidates to run our government because it is our government, and it can happen, just like Martino today, just like Peter Del Barolo yesterday on the phone. Good quality people, and I know there's tons of them. I have a few more that wanted to call in. Hopefully, I'm called back in again. I'd like to give them the time to host the show so they can listen to what we have to say, listen to those candidates. They're good. They're good, solid candidates. And I'm going to be super honest with you guys, too, because that's who I am. I call from the hip. There are a lot of elected officials that I would not vote for. I would not vote, I just think they have an R after their name. I just don't think they're good for us. So we need to be honest with that, too. So on the other side, the Democrats, where you have a bad Democrat official, bad senator, all kinds of stuff, it's time to vote him out. Cory Booker, New Jersey. Cory Booker. Come on. This guy has done absolutely nothing. Look at Newark. It's still a disaster. While he was there, what did Zuckerberg give him? Anybody, Justin, Matt, you remember how much money Zuckerberg gave Newark for the schools while Booker was there? It's like $100 million or something, right? It was big numbers. It was real big numbers. Newark ever gotten any better? Or schools? Or the last time I saw something coming out of Newark, most of the kids that were graduating high school couldn't read or write. So, but Cory Booker right now, he's up for re-election this year in New Jersey. And he's got about, I think the last time I saw it was like $40 million in his campaign account. And unfortunately, the Republican contenders, there's 4 of them in a primary. Even whoever comes out on top of the primary will probably wouldn't raise more than $250,000, if that. I doubt they'll get to $500,000. $1 million would be a long shot. But Cory Booker will get reelected. People come out in droves to vote for this friggin' guy who has done absolutely nothing. He stood on, the Senate floor for 24 hours to rage against President Trump. And he's a racist and he's a pedophile and he's this and he's that. He's not. He's not. We know that. We got to end this stuff. So I got, what am I breaking here, Justin? Right now. Okay, so you have been listening to the afternoon show on 1210 WPHT with your host, Steve Pac-Man Pakradooni. We're going to come right back at you and get you to the 5 o'clock hour.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
I finished a 5K in 94th place. Right after a man wearing jeans. They still gave me a medal. I don't want a reward for doing. I want a reward for dominating. Like Daily Prize Matcher on Bet365. I play for free and win real rewards, like up to $5,000 in cash weekly. Unlike that joker in denim. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically present in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. T's and C's apply.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Are you sick of prices constantly rising, especially in some of your basic health essentials? You're not alone. And Rescue is doing something about it. This Memorial Month, Rescue Natural Supplements is featuring huge rollback prices on all their products, from cholesterol, metabolic support, to their best-selling high-intensity omega-3s. What's more, you can actually stack up your savings. When you buy 2 more bottles, you get a bonus bottles for free. Go to res-q.com to shop these deals. Stock up on your favorites or try something new that fits your health goals. Rescue products are meticulously crafted, rigorously tested, and rooted in the belief that wellness should be personal, effective, and grounded in science. So what are you waiting for? Stack your savings with major rollback prices on top of Memorial Month deals site-wide. Shop today at res-q.com or call a product consultant at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Now's the best time to put your health first and start feeling better. Just go to res-q.com.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That changed my life.
At that moment, it hit me. This is why I joined the Guard. We're soldiers, always ready to protect our country. But we've also got communities. Family, friends, neighbors who count on us. I couldn't believe it. I just saved a life. Somebody from my hometown.
See what it means to be a citizen soldier at NationalGuard.com.
You can now tune in to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Now I'm dancing back here. It's like the chipmunk dance. You know, Caddyshack comes out of the hole. It's good stuff, Justin. I like this. A little jazzy there, too.
Little Steely Dan.
Yeah, Steely Dan. Good stuff. So I'm back. Pack is back on 1210 WPHT, the afternoon show. Big time. Mama made it. Mama made it. Man, it's amazing here. So the call-in number is 855-839-1210. Got a little bit of time before we hit that 5 o'clock hour, and I want to talk about one thing. Since we had such a great show on Memorial Day, we had for Memorial Day we had a Gold Star dad call in, Charles Strange, tell the story about his Navy SEAL son, Michael Strange, who was killed in Afghanistan, and hasn't gotten many answers, and it's a sad story, but it's still amazing how Michael's whole thing, and he told his father, if I die for this country, that's God's plan. And, unfortunately, he did die for this country, and Charles has been trying to get the information about the death of his son, and it's been pretty rough, but he does a lot for Gold Star families. But for yesterday, the Democrats actually had to delete this post here, and this is where I'm saying that they're so far off base, that they're suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, the leaders of the Democrat Party, that they used a post on Memorial Day to politicize and criticize Trump. They only said, we're remembering the Americans who have died in Trump's war with Iran. Now, I think we lost 13 military members, which is horrible. It's sad. But it's Memorial Day. How, we've lost 1.1 or 1.2 million military members, but you're going to, blame Trump on this and use it for, Trump's war on Iran. So it's just horrible for Memorial Day to do that. And I don't understand the Democrats' policies of hate Trump. It's not helping the country. It's not moving us forward. We elected him. Again, I'm going back to saying that the citizens of the United States sent him to the White House again. Now, I get it. Not everybody voted for Trump, but the way our government is set up, our republic is set up, is that, we sent him there. We have an electoral college. This is the way the states voted. He won fair and square. He didn't cheat. Fair and square. And he's there. Now, it's 4 years. And it's his, any person, any president's job is to do the best thing they could possibly do. And hopefully they get reelected if they choose to, if not. But it's 4 years. So it's our president for 4 years. When Joe Biden was sworn in, I didn't want him to fail. We're in the same boat. Yes, I was very, very critical of his policies. I don't know what kind of man he was personally. really don't care. I'm not going to have a beer with him or whatever. Who cares? Don't drink beer either. But his policies are what I had a problem with. But this guy, they hate personally, for whatever reason, that they would use our fallen military members for political gain. So I'm going to ask our listeners, and even our listeners on the other side, because I know they're out there. I know they listen because, I sneak in on the other side too and listen to this. Sometimes it's hard for me to do it because I want to be educated to see what CNN is saying and all. It's amazing what they're saying. Sometimes I got to turn it off and go back to it. But do you really think it was in our best interest of our country on Memorial Day for political gain to use our fallen military members and just mention the 13 in Trump's war with Iran? Now, I don't think it's right. And I'd be very hard-pressed for the leaders of that party, and I would ask our elected Democrats in the House and the Senate to think long and hard of putting these two leaders back in there, Schumer and Jeffries, who are, Schumer's just got to go, man. Just like McConnell had to go, Schumer's got to go. It's time. It's time for new ideas. I'm not saying our Republican leader is any better, but it's definitely time for Schumer to go. Thank God Pelosi's out of there. She's gone. She won't be back in. The good news is Congress in January of 2027 will have a lot of the members that were problems on both sides gone. And hopefully the fresh members that come in really represent the citizens of this country. So again, President Trump was elected. He's there. He's our president. I do support him. I think he works very hard for us 24/7. Some of his policies, they say, will hurt us. We could talk about tariffs and this. My industry, it hasn't really affected me. He's actually helped my industry because, he's very in the automotive industry. He wants all the cars built here. He released a lot of the standards, CAFE standards, got away from this nonsense of electric cars. Not that there's anything wrong with them. Not that I can't work on one, but the Democrats wanted to turn an industry off in like overnight. You can't flip a switch. You can't go from gas to electric if you don't have enough electric. So, and, also my business, I got to maintain your car. So it looks like we're coming up on 5 o'clock. I'm pretty sure we're coming up on 5 o'clock. And so we're going to have to take a break at 5 o'clock. So I appreciate you listening. You've been listening to the afternoon show on WPHT 1210 with your host, Steve Pakradooni. We got a great guest coming up after the 5 o'clock hour. Hang in there. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. I've been talking about myself for all these years. Now it's time for you to hear from one of our great clients.
Investor Schooling lives up to the promises. Larry's a great teacher, teaches about the whole new approach to thinking about money. I've taken to heart many of the things that he's taught me, and my financial life has improved.
Come to Investor Schooling, and you could be just like Charlie and change your financial life. Go to investorschooling.com. We will see you Thursday.
When the doctor informed me that I had to be transplanted, I froze. I was in shock.
Mr. Gatling was on dialysis. He had end-stage kidney failure. Transplants are some of the most complex procedures in medicine.
I received a kidney transplant at Virtual Health.
We are the only transplant center in South Jersey.
I can stay in my own backyard. I thank them for keeping me alive.
Virtual Health, the only transplant center in South Jersey. Here for good. Learn more at virtua.org.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
This is the sound of Claire, cooking dinner at home.
And that's the sound of a fraud alert from Wells Fargo, flagging a charge for a pricey restaurant in Paris. Considering Claire isn't in Paris right now, that seemed odd to the bank and to Claire. 2 taps later, Claire says nope to the charge, and Wells Fargo is on the case. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Just to point out how great this show is, Dawn Stensland, Greg Stocker, everybody involved, we are crushing it in the YouTube game.
Thank you for making us the #1 viewed news talk show in Odyssey.
And if you ever miss the show, you can always get the podcast on iTunes, where we have a 4.9 out of 5. Vicky Herz, Herz, says, the only podcast that truly feels like a family, especially when you watch on YouTube.
Aww.
They tell the truth, they debate.
And we fight.
And most of all, they start at 6 a.m.
Wow.
Thankfully, with the podcast, I can listen anytime.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
My grades were bad. I would get D's and C's.
I appeared to be doing good at my school life, but if you would see me at home, it would have been a completely different story.
I mean, it was just rough focusing on school when your mother is somebody you have to take care of. It got worse and worse and worse throughout the years.
There are students who need somebody.
They can trust someone, and it could be the first person they've ever trusted in their life.
Communities in Schools is lowering America's dropout rate by helping more than 1.3 million kids every year get whatever they need to succeed in school.
If something was going on at home, we would go just stop by Miss Liberty's office and talk to her.
Communities in Schools vouched for me when everyone else had lost hope.
You can help change the picture of education right here in your community and across the nation. Visit communitiesInschools.org.
I hear people say we can't save every kid, but I think that we can.
The very first thing you taught me was to be fair. No cutting in line. Play by the rules. Play by the rules. Don't pick on fair. It's good for our family. It's good for our neighborhood. It's good for the whole world. Buy fair, be fair. Visit befair.org to learn more. I'm glad we had this talk.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Now, The Drive at 5. 30 minutes of nonstop talk from Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff. Justin, I'm still here. I'm standing. Is that 3 hours? 2 hours, right? Standing here.
All the credit to you.
Yeah.
I could not.
Standing so. Well, Pack is back on 1210 WPHT, the afternoon show. You're tuned in. You're getting out of work. You're getting in your car. You're firing that car up. You got to turn the AC on. It's a little warm out there, a little humid, so you're going to have to fire up that AC. It's okay. You're not going to use a whole bunch of gas firing up the AC that years ago of the cars of the 70s, 80s. That's really long gone. And, yeah, we know. We know gas prices are up there. I feel your pain. I'm in the automotive repair industry. I have a auto repair shop. And I actually, my repair shop is at a gas station. I don't have anything to do with a gas station anymore. I used to own an Exxon gas station. It was my dream as a kid. I drew a picture of an Exxon gas station, and I said, one day I'm going to own one of those. And I did purchase a franchise, and I worked it, and there's literally no money in gasoline. Let me tell you, it's a disaster. So now it kind of makes it understand why the Wawas kind of took it over. There's really no mom and pop gas stations. I just couldn't afford the help. We made pennies on gasoline, and it was taking away from the repair business. It just was not a good business model. So I'm not a government entity. So when I realized that, hey, there's, I can't keep this business afloat, I sold the franchise and moved the repair shop and that kind of stuff. So, but the government would have just kept putting more and more money into it and losing money, but that's a whole nother story. So, and it's a segue into our next guest, our calling guest here. Gas prices are high, but I think our next guest, Daniel Turner, and he's the founder and executive director of Power the Future. He's going to explain it. And Daniel, you on the line with us here? You got us?
Great to be with you.
Fantastic. Thanks, you, Daniel. Now, listen, are you a mind reader? Because I'm just reading your op-ed for Fox here, and I'm like, this guy must have read my mind because this is what I've been thinking the entire time, and I've been preaching about this. So this is great stuff. So please tell our listeners, what you do, what you're about, and please let's talk about this op-ed. And, everybody's freaking out over the high gas prices, which are not as high as they were under Biden. But I like to let my guests do the talking, so rip away there, Daniel.
Yeah, well, it's great to be on your program, and thanks for having me. I was thrilled Fox ran this op-ed. I write for them regularly, and what was on my mind headed into Memorial Day was obviously politics seems to dominate our conversations. But for the 4 years of the Biden administration, we had gas average well above where we are now. And everyone was told it was no big deal, right? This was just part of going green. This was part of fighting climate change. Democrats certainly weren't flustered by it. In fact, they made fun of people who didn't buy an electric vehicle because that was going to solve all the problems. Well, roles have reversed. And obviously, as you said in your intro, and I agree wholeheartedly, gas prices are high. It's causing a lot of pain. It's no one wants this. I certainly don't want this. But that same opposition to high gas prices, or that same acceptance, I should say, of high gas prices is gone. Now it's a political opportunity, and that's kind of what happens really in the last 20 years of our national discourse. Is that everything is, how does this help me win an election and hurt my enemy? How does this, make the opposite party look bad? How does this help me in my primary? Very little is actually about what benefits the American people, and how we get policies that actually make and advance our country. So I just wanted to point that out for the readers. I mean, they're well aware of that. And also add on to that, the climate movement, which seems to be dead. They were telling us high gas prices were great because that meant we would stop using oil and gas. Even those voices are gone now. So it just goes to show that the prevailing voices in our national conversation usually have some agenda, and where we, the American people, aren't always part of it.
Yeah, and it's true. It's so funny that during that time, day one, Biden, ended the Keystone Pipeline, right? Just boom, done, gone. And it was okay. Nobody complained about gas prices. It was no big deal. And, diesel prices were the bigger cause of it. Thank God during this one, I haven't noticed the diesel prices going as high as they were because they really jumped up as soon as Biden took office. And that's why groceries were more and all this other stuff here. But it is amazing that those voices are awful quiet now, because they can use it for political gain, against President Trump. And I understand people are not happy. I am not happy paying more for gasoline. But it's funny if you average it out, when, you mentioned that here too. I mean, gas prices fell way down as soon as basically Trump got in office. And I think it was what was the average? Was it about $2.49 a gallon in the nation before the Iran conflict started?
Yeah, it was well under $2.50. Yeah. There were some places that it hit $1.98, but I think it may have even been around $2.25 a gallon. And that was certainly celebrated. And I want to return to those days. Certainly the president does. The biggest difference between now and the Biden administration was back then they did have a real concern. Markets had a real supply concern. Right. Every indicator from the president was, we are going to be producing less oil in the future. Mm-hmm. We're not giving you access to pipelines, permitting. The outer continental shelf is gone. The Gulf is gone. Alaska is gone. So prices escalated because they foresaw a supply crunch. We don't have a supply crunch right now. We are actually producing more than ever, and every indication is that we're going to continue in that trajectory. But we're part of a global problem, and a global problem is Iran. It's these terror networks. It's the Middle East, which has been a thorn of our side for 50 some odd years now. Every indication is that once this is resolved, prices will plummet. Markets don't think we're there yet, and markets are. As what Adam Smith marveled at, the invisible hand, markets are a heck of a lot smarter than any one person, and markets don't believe that the situation is resolved and prices are stubbornly high.
Right. They did really shoot up, and then actually, though, they have dropped a little bit here in our area, in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. I did see someone that posted in a station in New Jersey was $4.29 a gallon. The station that I rent the automotive base from, when I left this morning, it was $4.43 a gallon. And that was from a high. The highest it got to was $4.59 a gallon. So they are dropping. And it's funny that people are so in tune to gas prices, but some of these other policies, of the energy policies of the Democrats, have caused everything else to go up in so much. I mean, look at our electric bills, our natural gas bills, everything. But why do you think people are just so in tune to the gas prices?
Yeah, that's a great question. Probably because that's the one that we feel the most. Because unlike your electric bill or your other utilities, where you put it on a credit card or you do direct deposit from your direct debit from your bank account, or the problem with utilities also is that if you don't pay, in most places it's illegal to turn your power off. That's only in movies when they say, "Oh, they turned my power off." Right. It is illegal for most utilities to turn off your power, so you kind of forget about it. But every time you go to the gas station, you can't walk away until you've paid. And it is very personally felt. You do have to put down your card. You do see the numbers tick up. And so you feel it a lot more personally. Also, we like our road trips. We like our cars. We like driving. It's why the Biden attack on the combustion engine was felt so personally. People don't want to give up their vehicles.
Right.
So we like to be in our car and we like to drive around. We are a car culture. And that means you're filling up at the pump and you see it. You can also feel that fluctuation from day to day. Utility prices have gone up 30% over the last 5 years. Unfortunately, we've been accustomed to it. That's a whole other ball of wax, right? But we've become accustomed to it. But gas prices, you can say, whoa, it was $45 yesterday. Today it's 56. What the hell's going on? Yeah. Right? You can feel it a lot more immediately, and it's a very personal indicator of where the economy is.
Right. Yeah, it's true. And I always it's funny, when I owned my gas station in New Jersey, I had that Exxon, and then right across the street from me, I even forget the brand it was, but they would drop their price just to try to sell a little bit more gas, like 2 cents. And customers that I would fix their car, put air in their tires, check all this, and fix flats for free and all, I'd see them at the gas station across the street, for 2 cents cheaper. And like, if you got 10 gallons, it's like 20 cents. And people are so in tune to that. And I think the Democrats do a way better job of, pushing that narrative out there than the Republicans that's saying, hey, we understand that they're high now, but remember what they were there. So let's do a hypothetical thing here. So, you're in tune to the power of the future and all. If just say that President Trump did not win the election and Harris had won, where do you think we'd be right now? Just, I know it's hard to, it's hypothetical, but just, you're an expert in this field, so you would know about it. Where do you think we would be with gas prices? But more importantly, where would they be more stifling of the, the riches that we have under our feet that we don't use in this country?
Yeah, well, I probably would be in jail because I would have violated some new ordinance under the Harris administration.
Right.
We'd all be quadruple vaxxed for the newest, whatever the newest thing is. That's another thing. But if you just look at where oil prices were, and the reason why they dropped so quickly once Trump was inaugurated is because markets saw the future as positive.
Right.
So we would be at this exact price point, but there would be no hope in the future. We would be where all of our European friends are all the time, which means if you go to Europe and you rent a car and you putter around Italy and you fill up and you say, holy cow, gas is expensive here. And then you realize it's per liter, not per gallon, and you fall off the floor. They're accustomed to it in Europe. Right. That's just the way things are because they've allowed it to be that way for the last 30 or so years. That is what the Biden administration, is what Barack Obama wanted. They wanted us to get used to European-style pricing for their agenda. Luckily, the Americans, have a good long-term memory and are able to say, whoa, it wasn't always this way. That's kicking in now as well. They're saying it was just January that it was $2.50 a gallon. What the hell happened?
Right.
So we're headed in we're coming out of a bad moment. The future is bright. Prices will drop precipitously. But if we didn't have an energy person in the White House, this would be the new normal, and there would be no reversing it.
Yep, and I saw that too, and especially in my industry, that push for the EV mandates and all, and I'm like, first off, we always talk about, is $7 a gallon gasoline, does it burn any cleaner than $2.50 a gallon gasoline?
Yeah.
The answer, of course,
Exactly.
is no. And I made the statement several times, even on the air too. Like, what happened is if we let technology handle, they're all so worried about combustion engines, but the reality is today's combustion engines, and maybe our listeners don't know this. I always make the joke where, hey, you want to kill yourself and put the car in the garage and turn it on, you are going to starve to death before any fumes get to you because nothing is coming out of the tailpipe. There's zero emission cars. And so my whole thing was why? So we have the zero emission cars. We have all this, oil under our feet. I understand we have to refine it and all this other thing. But why would a government policy like the Green New Deal push this on an entire country where China, India, Russia, all the other countries aren't doing it? I just don't understand, the thought process behind this. And, so at your firm then, so the director, of Power of the Future, what are you telling people and saying, okay, listen, I can see what Trump's policy is. We have all these resources here. Are you telling them that we can use this stuff when he says clean coal and, clean natural gas? Is he lying to us, or is that really true that we have cleaned this up enough that we can use it and it's not hurting, the world? The world's not going to end in 12 years.
Absolutely, it's true. And that's why this is just all one big gigantic scam. Because it is about a much larger agenda, and energy is the way to achieve it. It is about control. It's why when you see our elected Democrats, when you see even on the debate stage, and they talk about, remember how blasé they used to talk about regulating meat because of climate change? And this is going back a little before COVID. Things were a little different, but there was an entire presidential debate in 2019 where every candidate had about 20 minutes on CNN to talk about climate change. And people like then Senator Harris would say, we have to have a conversation about cheeseburgers. We have to decide. They were very comfortable with saying they want to regulate your diet because of this agenda. They want to regulate the way you drive or commute to work. They want to regulate how many times you're allowed to go on an airplane if possible. Energy is just the vehicle for a much larger command and control society. And that's what the left is in everything, right? That they want to be able to dictate if you should go to work or what job you should have or whether or not you should get that job because you have the right or the wrong skin color. Heck, you can't even get Democrats to agree that you should decide what school your kids go to. No, you don't have school choice. We tell you where your kids go to school, and we determine, what bus they get on. You don't have any of those rights. So energy is the great equalizer. When you can get in your car and drive anywhere, when you have consumer goods that are so inexpensive that you can jump on a plane and go to grandma, that you can fly to Europe, that you can engage with your friends in free movement, that scares the hell out of the left. The left does not like freedom. And energy gives you tremendous freedom. Abundant, inexpensive energy is the ultimate form of freedom. And that's why it's under attack the same way the Second Amendment, the same way the First Amendment, the same way Elon Musk and the platform X, the same way this wonderful radio station and talk radio shows like yours. As soon as they get the chance to do some sort of fairness doctrine and get you shut up, they will gladly get you shut up because you are a threat to their command and control society. It's very, very, very clear playbook in my mind. Energy is just the quickest way to achieve it. Control energy, control the world. Contrast that what President Trump is trying to do. He wants to control the world's energy, but for good.
Right.
He wants to decide who gets oil and gas. He wants to decide, Venezuela, you don't get to sell your oil and become rich and spread communism in Latin America. Iran, you don't get to sell your oil and bomb the Middle East and make me still how many years later, take off my belt and my shoes and get felt up by the TSA agent because we have terrorist threats? How about we control the world's energy and we control the world for good? So energy is everything. It's just a matter of who controls it. Do the free people and a free society, or do people like Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden control it? That's the difference.
Daniel, are you sure we were not separated at birth? Because
that's the best compliment you could give me.
Because it's exactly what I've been trying to tell people, and I try to do it a different way. Just say you're starving to death, but there's $100 bill laying on the floor, but the government is telling you, I'm sorry, you cannot pick up that $100 bill and purchase food with it. It's the same thing. We have more oil and natural gas and all the energy we can ever have. And because of government, we're not using it. It would solve the homeless problem. It would solve all of our problems. In Saudi Arabia, why Dubai, how did these countries build these things out of the desert that 50 years ago it was a desert? It was from the profitability of the oil they were selling. So it's foolish. They have no regulations there. But all the, we call them tree huggers, but not tree huggers. All the leftists were so worried they want the windmills and this and that, as all these other countries are using the energy, oil, and with no regulations. Wouldn't you rather have the United States selling oil, refining oil, doing all this with all of our EPA regulations? To me, it's just common sense. It just.
Or wouldn't you just rather have elected officials who are courageous enough to say the truth? For example, ocean plastic. Everyone's concerned about ocean plastic. Okay, I'll be concerned about it too. But 98% of it comes from India, China, Southeast Asia. Right. Why the hell do we have to ban plastic straws? Right. Why did they tell you can't have a plastic bag anymore? Your previous governor in New Jersey did that. You can't have plastic bags anymore. Why? Because of ocean plastic. How about you have just the guts and the courtesy to us, the American people, where we don't. I grew up in Rockaway in New York.
Right.
I grew up on the Atlantic coast. We don't throw our crap in the ocean in America.
No.
But sadly, they do in the third world and in Southeast Asia, and we have to pay the price. I can't get a plastic straw because China gets to dump all their crap in the ocean. That's the type of command and control society that we're talking about. If you have an agenda, then everything aligns to your agenda, and you punish people. You determine how many sips it's going to take, to finish up their coffee because I haven't given you the right straw to do so. That's the type of stuff that gets the left so damn excited they can't see straight. And energy is the quickest way to control society.
Yeah, it's insane. I make jokes about global warming and all this. At the beginning of the show is telling our producer here that, hey, global warming's back. It's called summer, and it's funny. I go back and forth on social media with some people. So I posted. It was cold or something or whatever, and then somebody's going to post an article. We had the hottest year ever last year, and it's funny at the time. I was in Florida, and it was January, coming in just in February. And I'm in Florida, in basically the middle of the state, actually a little more South Florida. I got in the car; it was 32 degrees, and the iguanas were falling out of the trees. It's hard to sell me on that. Our world is our planet is getting warmer. That we're all going to fry. I mean, Al Gore said we'll never see snow again. I shoveled snow this year. I never want to do that again. So
exactly.
So we're on the right side of this. We're common sense. We're saying, okay, yes, I am all for using all the energy that we have, but no, I don't want to pollute the air. When I got in the automotive industry, it was back in the 80s. We could not run a car with the door down. I mean, you first off, the smell, it would kill you, the whole thing. Today, in my garage, if it's late model stuff, there might be 2 or 3 cars running and you don't smell anything. There's no more smog in LA. We fixed those problems. So what I don't understand is how are reasonable people, how are even reasonable Democrats that are elected, how do they not see that, hey, the technology fixed this problem. Why are we so anti-fossil fuel? I can't figure out why they think this, and I'm assuming you're going to go back to saying just control.
And it's such a great point. And you know, if you are, exactly, it is about control. If you are someone like Joe Biden, remember how many times he would tell the story of growing up in Scranton and the pollution was so thick you could run your finger against the windshield. And maybe it was. I wasn't growing up in Scranton in the 1950s.
Right.
But if that story is true, and not that Joe Biden would ever exaggerate a story, but if that story is true, and I've heard similar, then why don't we use that as an example to say, wow, isn't that amazing how much we've progressed, right? I remember Woodsy the owl and the Native American crying because people were throwing litter out the window in the 1970s, right? We remember those commercials.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore.
No.
Can't we look at that and rather than live in the 70s and still talk about pollution, live in the now and say, look how much we've advanced. Why do we have to still pretend that we do live in this polluted? We don't. We have made so much progress. We have cut emissions 90% if you want to play the emissions game, and that's without government. That's just the industry doing a better job because the free markets are always trying to do a better job. It behooves the oil and gas industry to have their products burn better because it actually saves them money. So this nonsense that we live in this world that is always full of danger and pollution but government will save you. Joe Biden will save you, right? Pete Buttigieg, they'll tell you what to drive. They'll tell you what to eat. They'll take care of you. Everyone else is out to get you. That's the biggest difference between us and them. It is a freedom versus control. And if you believe in freedom, then you're comfortable with the fact that you're going to make your own decisions, and sometimes you're going to fall and sometimes you're going to rise. But if that scares the crap out of you, then you want big government to take care of you. And sadly, we have a lot of people, especially imported ones, who want government to take care of them.
Yep.
And that's the battle of our times.
Oh, man. Daniel, I am up against a hard break. First, how can people find you and get more information from you? Because this is amazing, exactly what I've been thinking. I just couldn't articulate it like you did. Fantastic job. Just please tell our listeners how they can find you.
I appreciate that. You can find us at powerthefuture.com and Daniel Turner, PTF, on all the platforms. And it's great to be on your show, and I hope we stay in touch.
Fantastic, Daniel. Thank you so much. So much.
Thank you.
So there you go. Control. And that's what I've been saying about good government, bad government. They want to control us. And it's amazing. Like I said, all these people, they didn't care about high gas prices under Joe Biden, but under Trump, it's the end of the world. Think, people, think. You have been listening to the afternoon show on WPHT 1210 AM with your host, Steve Pacman. We are coming right back after the break with more show. Hang in there.
Free speech lives here on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
You've put in the work to get that first job, moved up the ranks, or started a family. Now it's time to take your success to the next level. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we're here to help you keep that momentum going with educational programs built around real-world, in-demand career skills. We'll teach you how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science, plus timeless skills like leadership, communication, critical thinking, and more. Affordable, accredited, and online. A UMGC education fits your life so you can keep growing while you keep going. You've succeeded before. Now succeed again. At UMGC, we believe nothing should stand in the way of your next achievement. Not doubt, not your life stage, and especially not an application fee. Just apply by June 1st and we'll waive your application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
I'm Paul Cozy from Cozy Jewelers, and we're not your typical jewelry store. We're a family-owned jeweler and manufacturer, crafting nearly every piece right here in-house. When you shop with us, you're getting a curated, custom design experience, not just a selection of cases on a shelf. That means every piece is personal, crafted with care, and made to last. If you want something different, truly unique, and made just for you, this is fine jewelry the way it's meant to be. Come see us in Newtown Square and step up to the 5th C. Color, cut, clarity, carat, and cozy.
D&K Appliances is a family-owned and operated business for 3 generations located in Newtown Square and Flowertown. D&K Appliances offers one-stop shopping, providing delivery, installation, and service of top brands like GE, Thermador, Wolf, Bosch, Speed Queen, KitchenAid, and Whirlpool for your kitchen or laundry. D&K Appliance sales associates are industry experts, supporting customers every step of the way. Visit D&K Appliances, the dependable difference. Newtown Square and Flowertown showrooms, or visit dkappliances.com.
Prioritize yourself and make your dream of an attractive, healthy smile a reality at PI Dental Center. The professionals at PI Dental have been transforming patients' smiles for over 38 years. Board-certified specialists, Dr. Glenn Wolfinger and Dr. Robert Slough, perform complex dental makeovers with their teeth-in-a-day protocol, where dental implants are placed and restored with fixed teeth in just 1 day. It's time to invest in yourself. For a smile that's monumental, trust PI Dental. Visit pidentalcenter.com.
No use denying it. Old Man Winter's been hard on our homes. If it's drafty windows, overflowing gutters, rotted trim, or that dreaded leaking roof, PJ Fitzpatrick can take care of your home repair project before it turns into costly structural damage. Don't keep putting it off. This is the best time to call the repair experts at PJ Fitzpatrick. No job too big or too small. They'll fix it right the first time. Visit trustpj.com.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
Tune in to the Crash Proof Retirement Show Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Joanne Small-Canella and Tracy Stillman. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Now back to the Piazza Auto Group Studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. This is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Yep, money. That's what it's about. Actually, we didn't touch on that part with Daniel Taylor after that. So it was, it's all about the Benjamins. Follow the money. And it's amazing how much money our government wastes. It really, really, really is. Which will kind of lead us into a little bit more when we'll talk about Spencer Pratt out there in California, L.A., I went to L.A. It was okay. It's a huge city, and we went out there, and we were going to go out to the studios and see all the Hollywood studios and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, it's 4 miles away from our hotel. They said, give yourself an hour. I'm like, what? They said, give yourself an hour. The traffic is insane. So here's California with all the crazy people and all that stuff, leftist nutcase, and everybody's in a car. They're just stuck in a car. So it's funny, we talk about with Daniel there about how, they tell us that, they don't want us to have these gas cars and all this other stuff, but all these leftists are out there not giving up their cars because public transportation in this country is not so great. Anybody want to ride Amtrak? I don't know. You guys, Justin, you ever ride Amtrak before?
Not anytime lately. I'll tell you that much for free.
Yeah. So I at one time we went down to Bike Week in Florida, down in Daytona. So it's cold, so it's it's hard to ride the whole way down. So we decided one year we're going to take the auto train. We're going to get on the auto train. It's great. Got the deluxe cabin. I could still, in my brain, I could still smell how bad that train smelled, and it just was inefficient.
I will say the auto train as an idea is very cool, but God, does Amtrak try their hardest to make you hate every single second of the experience?
It was horrible. It was horrible, and you know, I don't watch news all the time and stuff like that. So my wife Jean and I, you know, we watch YouTube video of people traveling. There's people that do all the Amtrak trains. They try to be so polite to say something nice, and it's just horrible. Then they'll go to do the trains in Europe, which are phenomenal, you know, and or especially in Japan and all.
I went to Japan last year, and I can speak from firsthand experience. I wish, I pray to every deity that'll listen that we could have some semblance of public transportation like they have.
Yeah, and listen, our country's just not set up like that. It just wasn't the way that it is. We're still a young country. It's 250 years. So the cars, the transportation, we just use cars, which gives us so many jobs, does so many different things. So why would we shoot ourselves in the foot to remove this industry from our country? Makes no sense because we just don't have great public transportation. And, you know, it's two things that stick in my mind is the smell of the subway in Philadelphia, you know, going to school, getting on the subway for that, and that Amtrak train. So anyway, real quick, before we have to go to the break here, you know, we're talking about L.A., we're talking about a city there, what happened to him, his house burnt down. So, you know, he's a regular guy. I understand he was on reality TV, from my understanding. I don't know much about him. But he had enough, and he jumped in, a regular person like myself, jumped in, and he's running for mayor of L.A. Because in so many words, it's funny when people say, what experience you have? His response back is so great. He goes, can't be any worse than it is now. And he's right. He's right. He really couldn't make it any worse than it is now. And, you know, you got to love him for that. He's a Trump-like guy. He's got a big personality. Most guys running for office aren't that. You got to be reserved and the tie on the whole thing. This guy doesn't seem to be that. He does have that, you know, Trump persona, shall we say. So it's good stuff. So let's play this clip 12, Justin, please, about, you know, how can we fix L.A. when we don't have any money. We were just talking about kind of from the last segment, too, and inching in with the money song.
The number one question that everybody has for me when they hear my plan is, how can we do that, Spencer? We don't have the money. Where is the money? Let me clue you in on a little secret. We have the money. It's just being stolen. You pay countless tax dollars. You're taxed on your income. You're taxed on your gas. You're taxed on your property. You're taxed out the... Every single expensive transaction you endure is taxed. Yes, hundreds of restaurants have shut their doors thanks to Karen Bass and Nithya Raman. Businesses are fleeing their terrible leadership, so revenue is decreasing. And I will turn that around, but we have plenty of money in this city. It's just being stolen. Our streets are a mess. Every day people pop tires. Their suspension is shot, all because our streets are left in utter neglect and disrepair.
Potholes can cause some pretty costly car repairs.
One pothole damaged as many as 10 cars.
More than a dozen vehicles damaged, many with blown out tires.
Both of my tires on the passenger side just blew out completely.
And the bend of my rim,
Let's stop it there, because this is great for me. So don't listen to Spencer. Do not vote for Spencer. I need cars hitting potholes. No, no, I trust me, please. I do not. It kills me. It kills me when people come in with the blown out tires and the bent rims. There really isn't very much money in tires. It's a very expensive part on a car. There's not much markup, much labor to put a tire on. In the rims, I have a very good friend, Jerry McManus, who had a Mercedes-Benz because he thought that was the car he needed for certain business he was in and all that. I had these low-profile tires on it, and it would kill the rims. They were $800 a piece every time from Mercedes, and I'm like, Jerry, get a different car, which he did. I don't want people hitting potholes. I'd rather just maintain your car, fix your car, make way more money doing that. But man, what common sense, right, Spencer? He's got some common sense here, and he's right. The money is being stolen. The money is being stolen. The fraud that they're finding, that the president put JD in charge of finding the fraud in this country, and it's amazing. Another thing too, going back to discussion with Daniel Turner here is in California, and I really wanted to ask him that, but we ran out of time with him. I did see, I don't know if it was Laura Ingraham, somebody had did a show on it where, years ago, Chevron had built, the towers, the ocean towers out. I think it was 50 miles off of the oil rigs, 50 miles off of the coast of California that had a refinery on the beach. Now, this is before, this is when Reagan was governor and all that other stuff, and the craziness wasn't there. And they put a pipeline in from the oil rigs to the refinery. The oil would come in, they would refine it right there, and then California would export oil to, and gas to other countries and also other states, and the gas prices were very low. So they aren't allowed to use the refinery anymore. They're not allowed to use the oil rigs only because of government regulations. And from my understanding, if I may be wrong on this, so I apologize to our listeners if I don't have exactly all the facts on it, because I was just watching it and really not 100% paying attention to it. So President Trump put some executive order in, maybe for the wars or the economy, whatever it was. So they were able to increase production, I think, until about 37 to 40%, because they were only operating at 7%. With that alone, they hired so many people back in to California, well-paying jobs. All those jobs were over $100,000 a year. And they said they could fix, if they would just allow it even to increase it to 80% turnout of what this refinery could do, they could lower the gas prices $3 to $4 a gallon in California and then help other states. And the government's stopping them from doing it. Court injunction after court injunction, the whole thing, take them to court. They were open for 2 days. Court shut them down. The problem is government. The problem is these crazy politicians that we elect in there that we don't pay attention to. They kept getting reelected because 50% of the people stay home. We could fix our energy problems in a second. And we have the infrastructure for it. Here in Philadelphia, if you remember, the refinery caught fire and they shut it down. We're never going to have a refinery again in Philadelphia and all this other stuff. Where it would have helped the region. They're good paying jobs. We would follow the EPA guidelines. It's way better than purchasing oil halfway around the world. So that's what happens with California. They had purchased oil there, maybe from Iran. I don't know exactly where they were getting it from at a higher cost, and then bringing it in and literally getting it off of the tanker a mile down the road from where the refinery is. And then they'd have to send that, oil to be refined to another refinery. It was just dumb. You're wasting more energy saying that, we're saving the planet. But it just isn't true. And we have to get back to common sense policies. So Spencer here is making sense. He really is making sense. And I hope this guy wins. He really is. He's running a fantastic campaign. And I know a little bit about campaigns. Not a lot. I'm not an expert. I'm a volunteer. And he's hitting home, and he's combining common sense and then also pulling on the heartstrings. Where his commercial with him going in front of, the junkies around the street, literally having sex on the street as the kids are walking to school. The moms are walking their kids to school, and he's actually got a coalition of moms, for Platt, for just tell them, hey, your kids don't have to see this. A government can fix this. We have laws. You can't, A, have sex on the street. That's one thing. And then B, you don't need to, pass by the junkies and then also, literally human crap on the street. It's just common sense stuff. And the voters are starting to wake up. And I really hope this guy wins. Unfortunately, I hope he wins. But when he wins, I really hope, you can't fight City Hall. It's one thing for him to be the mayor. He's got to deal with the council members and this and that, which also happens here in Philadelphia. You got progressive council members, but I think he will make a difference. And, LA, it's a great city. Why would they allow it, to burn down like that and have all these issues? And I just don't understand these leftist policies. So it's pretty crazy. So, Matt, where are we running to? What time are we breaking here? Right about now. Man, that Italian just doesn't shut up, right? Thank you for listening, everyone. You're on 1210 WPHT, the afternoon show. Steve Pack, your host. Taking a short break. We'll catch you in just a little bit.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it. by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers, believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hit the road this season to watch the Birds. Book your road trip with Fans of Philly. Trips are available now for Nashville, Arizona, Chicago, and London. Travel in style with transportation, a pregame party, and game tickets to enjoy the Birds on the road this season with Fans of Philly. The official travel partner of 94 WIP and the Eagles Radio Network. Book now at fansofphilly.com. That's fans with a PH of Philly.com.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. How many times are you going to listen to my voice before you finally go to investorschooling.com? I can't believe you haven't signed up for a class yet. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know existed. Go to investorschooling.com right now. Oh my goodness. This Thursday, investorschooling.com, and take that free class. See you there.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. With honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Make growing your savings part of your summer plans. Open a First Harvest Credit Union 8-month share or IRA certificate and earn 3.5% annual percentage yield. Or choose our 18-month option and earn 3.4% annual percentage yield. Explore all your options at firstharvestcu.com/certificates, including our growth savings and growth checking accounts. Membership restrictions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
As a combat wounded veteran, I know how hard it is to come home and build a meaningful life. I'm LaToya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. When I was in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. A rocket-propelled grenade exploded right under my seat. Traumatic brain injury, a fractured pelvis, severe burns. They didn't think I was going to make it. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like LaToya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
With DAV on my side, I was able to pursue my dreams. If my story can touch a heart, it can change a life. My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
LaToya Lucas, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Now you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Definitely. Get a set of White World tires. I need the money. Buy a set of tires. It's a great song. I love it. Love it. Billy Joel, big motorcycle guy. Man, he's been riding motorcycles forever, building them, racing them. He's got a great story. Sort of like mine. He actually started out in the automotive industry, working at gas stations, stuff like that. So we're back. You're listening to the afternoon show on 1210 WPHT with your host, Pac-Man, Steve Pakradooni. Don't ask me how to spell Pakradooni. I don't know. I spelled it wrong to the second grade, believe it or not, because the teachers would put PAC and it's PAK, and it would just mess me up. Then they would put PACK, but it's not. It's PAKRADOONI. So we got a little time left here. It's before 6 o'clock, so getting into some great conversation. I know it must be doing something right, Justin. My wife is actually saying you're doing a good job.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's been a great show.
Yeah, so it's 24 years of marriage, and I probably the only time I've ever heard that. So it doesn't sound good. Oh man, this is getting rough. But yeah, this is great. I'm loving this. It's fun. It's different. It's down to earth, and again keeps going back and back and back. Regular guy. People can get involved. You don't have to be that big talking head. You don't have to have all this money and everything to get involved in politics to make a difference with it. Talk radio, of course, has always been a big part of that because it gives us a platform to get out there within a crazy, mainstream media that just would ignore us completely, shut us down. So before we come up on that 6 o'clock break, talk a little bit about something. I'm a Roman Catholic, born and raised in South Philly, went to St. Monica's, went to Bishop Eustace, or actually St. John Newman High School. Actually, St. John Newman High School. My son went to Bishop Eustace. So I have a deep faith. I was an altar boy. I was in the choir. I did all that stuff. I'm a CA captain for the Malvern Retreat House. So I have a pretty good deep faith, Catholic religion. The Pope. Now, Bob. It's funny. I got a story about Bob. So, of course, he's hooked up with Villanova. He's from the area and stuff like that. So he had a friend that is, pretty high up with the Augustins, and he's went to seminary. I can't say that word. Anything cellular. I can't say any of that stuff, but it is what it is. So he went to what do we call it? Pope College or whatever you want to call it, or priest college with the current Pope. And he's a friend of ours, and he comes up to our retreat house, and he said, when the new Pope was ordained, he was invited to go there, and he said he didn't know what he was going to call him, Your Excellence, Your Honor, and all this other stuff, Your Eminence. And he got out of the car, and he walked into the building, and he saw his friend, and, who's now the Pope, and he goes, Bob, how you doing? So we just call him Pope Bob. So he's got some pretty interesting things. Him and Trump do not see eye to eye, and I can understand it. They're definitely two different personalities here, but the Pope and AI, and I mentioned this yesterday too, where he said we have to disarm AI, is pretty crazy because it's coming, whether we like it or not. And I feel that if America's in front of it, we're better off. But just let's play this clip from Secretary Doug Burgum about the Pope and AI.
Secretary, even Pope Leo this weekend issuing a major document Monday focused largely on the implications of the rise of artificial intelligence. The Pope saying that this technology could make civilization less human. Why is the Pope commenting about AI right now?
Well, I didn't know that was I didn't know that tech editorializing was part of the role of being Pope, but it is but certainly some of these states that have got very high electricity prices today, and they've got high electricity prices today because of the policies they pursued with trying to go with intermittent, unreliable, weather-dependent sources of electricity.
Yes,
we've got to get back to baseload power to make this whole thing
so
work.
You can stop there. Thanks, Justin. He's got a little in the weeds there, Doug. I was Rich's favorite candidate for president. He really thought he was going to do it.
The 12 Burgum bros are still holding on.
They're still holding on. And we were just, it's so funny to hear Rich say his name. I just think
he's like 28's our year, Burgum bros.
Right. It was so funny because he was rooting for this guy and everything like that. So, and speaking of Rich, was able to text with him the other day, and everybody asked me, "Hey, how's he doing?" And he said it was okay to mention it. He's doing great. He's feeling better. Looking forward to getting back on the airways soon, and he thanks everybody for the well wishes, and he's definitely doing much better. I'm glad everything went well for him. But so I agree with our Secretary of the Interior. The Pope. Let's stick to Pope things, okay? You got a bunch of issues going on in your own world there, shall we say? AI, I get it. It's scary, and it's because people don't know the unknown. They're always in fear of of the unknown. Personally, I just think that America should be out in front with this. And Trump is trying to do that by having them build the chips here and this there so we can have some control over it. But if America does not, embrace this, and we're not the leaders in this, the foreign countries like China, Russia, all these other ones are going to do it. The evil ones, shall we say, it was the axis of evil or whatever it was. We can't have that. And the secretary is correct. Pope, stick to the Pope stuff. I'm not going to tell you how to run the Catholic Church. Maybe you shouldn't be able talking, to us about how technology should move. Yes, anytime technology comes in, there's always going to be a loss of certain types of jobs. But think about all the other jobs that it's going to, produce. We talked about this yesterday. Imagine if we said, nope, we're not going to have automobiles in the USA. We're still going to do, a horse and carriage. It would have put us back to a third world country. You have to embrace the technology. I'm nervous if government gets involved with it. If Bernie Sanders is telling us, hey, we got to control AI, go the other way. It's just like they want to control our energy. It's like Daniel was telling us, it's control. Bernie is not worried about, the billionaires and the millionaire. Well, he doesn't say anything about millionaires anymore because he's a millionaire 3 or 4 times over. So now he only talks about the billionaires. It's not about that. It is about control for these people. Now, a lot of jobs would be replaced by that. But listen, jobs have been replaced by computers and automation and robots and all this. Somehow, we still wind up coming out on top. In this country right now, I think our unemployment rate is 3%. The reality is, if you want a job, there's plenty of jobs out there. You can go find a job. There's a difference between when the Great Depression, when there was just literally no work. But if you really want to do something, there's a job out there for you. Now, AI, of course, is going to change a lot of different things. It's never going to replace what we're doing right now. You can have an AI host here. You can type in questions, and that AI host will answer it. But it's not that one-on-one conversation that we need as humans. We need that. And I just think that personally, AI has helped my business. It's helped a lot of other businesses. And I think once it's here, just like the cell phones, when they said cell phones are going to ruin all this other stuff. And it's just a fact of life now. It just really is a fact of life now. And humans always wind up coming out on top on this. They always say, well, the AI robots are going to kill us. Well, how? We're going to arm them? What are you do? Are they going to walk into Bob's Little Gun Shop and go buy guns? No, it can't happen. I just don't understand a lot of the thoughts behind this. It's not Star Wars. It's not the movies, Attack of the Drones. Somebody's got to be controlling the drones, right? So we just really have to think about this stuff before we, just eliminate it. And, guys like the Pope, whose really his job is to do something else, is to be the religious leader and not really talk about AI. I think AI will actually help third world and impoverished countries, but that's me. Maybe I'm wrong. But at 6 o'clock, we're on the break. You've been listening to the Afternoon Drive Show here on 1210 WPHT. Come right back at you.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. They still gave me a medal. I don't want a reward for doing. I want a reward for dominating. Like Daily Prize Matcher on Bet365. I play for free and win real rewards, like up to $5,000 in cash weekly. Unlike that joker in denim. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically present in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. T's and C's apply.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. My friends at Bob's Little Sports Shop, they want to help you exercise your Second Amendment rights safely and confidently. Family owned and operated for more than 60 years. They'll help you from the permit application to choosing the right firearm for you. Ladies, sign up now for Bob's all-female shoot. Sunday, June 7th at 2 p.m. No firearms ID card or experience needed. Visit bobslittle.sportshop.com. It's a great event and a great place. This ad sponsored by Bob's Little Sports Shop.
A diagnosis like heart failure, AFib, because when it's your heart, you don't take chances. DemandDeborah.org.
Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
I am not an activist. I have no aspirations for politics. I'm not angling for Fox News. By the way, when you look at the history of this morning show, the ones in the past or in the present, like the guy that we put out to pasture in Missouri that agree with Trump 100% of the time, you know what their ratings were compared to the three of us right now? The three of us. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. We've beaten them all.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
This weather won't last forever. Soon summer will be here and you'll go from always shivering to always sweating. And if your AC barely made it through last summer, Horizon Cooling's here to fix any HVAC issue now. And for a limited time, get a precision tune-up for just $79. But if you're in need of a new system, save big with up to $2,000 in free comfort upgrades plus 0% interest financing. So start now and avoid getting stuck with season passes to Sweatland. Book horizonservices.com today.
I'm Shanola Hampton. Every day, millions of people face hunger. Today, I will share with you some of their experiences. I'm stuck between paying for medications or paying for food. John from Maine. After paying my bills, I can buy groceries. It's sad to say, food comes last. Alice from Oregon. I thought pantries were for less fortunate people. But anybody could be less fortunate in a day or even a second. Claire from Virginia. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. No one should have to worry where their next meal will come from. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Hi, I'm Judith Light. So there you are. It's flu season, and you're over 65 like me. You're having another busy year. So much to do, so many roles in life to play. But you feel like you might be forgetting something serious. Your annual flu shot. And before you know it, it's too late. It's not just the aches, fever, and chills that last for days and days. The flu can be life-threatening, especially if you have chronic conditions like diabetes and heart disease, which can worsen with the flu. Being active and healthy alone won't protect you. The immune system weakens with age, making you more susceptible to the flu. If you're over 65, ask about your vaccine options, including one made specifically for us. An annual flu shot is the best way to help keep the flu away. Visit the National Council on Aging at ncoa.org/flu to learn more and talk to your doctor or pharmacist about vaccine options for people 65 and older. Again, that's ncoa.org/flu.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
We're here, and before I get to the top story of the day, I just want to say thank you for everyone for listening. We really appreciate you listening, and we also want to be part of the show. So I'm going to give the call-out number, and then we'll get to the top story of the hour here. So the call number is 855-839-1210. Love to hear from you. Top story of the day is sponsored by Venereal Dental. It's not about cost. It's about care, commitment to dental excellence. Schedule an appointment with Dr. Mike today. Get a level of care you deserve. Call 856-786-2020 or visit venerealdental.com. That's venerealdental.com. Top story of the day is the tensions in Iran. We don't want to bring this back, but it's some breaking news there. There have been some strikes from Israel into Hezbollah, and it's been an issue. It's been a problem. 47 years of hatred is not going to end in a few days. We're about 85, 86 days into this military action here. There are some problems, but I'm going to tell everyone and tell our listeners to please trust the president. I understand I am a Trump supporter. I do support him. I voted for him 6 times, if you think about it, 3 primaries, 3 general elections. But let his actions, his results guide you on this. He hasn't been wrong on much. Remember what the media told you. Stock markets are going to crash. Inflation is going to go through the roof. We're going to hit a depression. Remember they were talking about we're approaching depression. It never, ever happened. Stock markets are through the roof. Businesses have invested billions and billions of dollars into our country, building factories, building plants, putting their money here, putting our trust in, the America, in our opportunity, and more importantly, the safety of our country. If you're going to, open a new headquarters or world headquarters for your business, USA is pretty a safe place. So if you cut the corporate taxes, you provide safety. We have a skilled job. We have skilled laborers who can work in these job markets. It's a no-brainer for these chip companies to come in and invest billions, hundreds of billions of dollars to do this. So I'm just telling you right now, stick with the president. He has not been wrong on many things. So if we abandon him now, we abandon our country and we lose. We lose. He's gone in 2 years. He will still be a billionaire. He will still be married to a supermodel. He will still own golf courses, all these things. But if we abandon him now and say, okay, that's it, we're voting against him in the midterms, that's it, we had enough. We had enough. We're not going to, vote Republican, or we're going to stay home. And what's going to happen is we're going to lose the House. We're going to possibly lose the Senate. And if we do that, then they're going to impeach him. I know they need 62 votes or 2/3 or something like that in the Senate. But if things go bad enough, you see these senators only want to protect themselves, they may vote to impeach him. It's a distraction for our country. All the good, the security, the investments, the booming economy. Yes, gas prices are high right now, but they will be coming down. Trust them on this. I'm okay with it. Maybe you're not okay with it, but I'm okay with if he's eliminating a threat from Iran, who is, leading state of terrorism. They're labeled that. If they get a nuclear weapon, they would use it against us. Now, it's not going to affect me. Maybe not even affect my son, but it could affect his children and his great-grandchildren, all that. So why would we take that chance? When he made those attacks back in July and removed the capabilities of them, for their nuclear capabilities of increasing it, that was one step. But as soon as they did that, they tried to negotiate with them all that time, and Iran refused to do that. And what did they do? Immediately start up their program again. What is their quest for a nuclear weapon? Why are they doing that? I don't understand it. We're in 2026. Maybe we could stop killing each other. Maybe there wouldn't be any more wars. You could say what you want about the president, but he has ceasefires all over the world that he's brokered, and they're holding somewhat. Best we can, but it was way better than it was when he wasn't in office. Love him, hate him, personality, got to take that out of it. Track record, that's what you have to look at. What's his track record? What's his results? Crime is down in this country. That's a big thing for me. A safe community. I talked to, my local mayor and my council members. I said, you make sure our community is safe, and they've done an excellent job in doing that. A safe community is a prosperous one. A prosperous one is where people want to raise their families and move to and all that. Same thing with our country. A safe country is a prosperous country. So let's stick with it. I'm asking everyone, hold your nose for the midterms. I understand we have some, representatives here in PA that are quote unquote Republican, and they still criticize the president. The president has even criticized them, them publicly. But if you stay home and you don't vote, what's going to happen is we're losing it. It's a distraction for our country. The House will just start impeachment immediately, and then it's going to go to the Senate. And if we have enough senators, we lose the Senate. Boy, it's all over for us. It's 2 years. Let's see it out. Now, I always say this too. I back a lot of candidates. Back in 2016, when I got involved with President Trump, I went to go see him out in Mannheim. I said, I got to hear this guy firsthand. So we went out to one of his first rallies out in Mannheim. And I said, this guy may be the real deal.
Now, does he do dumb things, stupid memes, and, insults people? But that's just him. It's his personality. You're not going to change him. I had the opportunity to meet the president for 20 minutes. It's a great story. Don't have time for it now. It was a great story. Again, surreal for me, kid from South Philly, just wound up meeting the president at Mar-a-Lago. And when you talk to him, he's a completely different guy. And people that I know that are close with the president say it's just him and his marketing. That's who he is when he's out in the public. And that's the way that he talks. It's very hard for me to explain that to people that just hate him for whatever reason why they hate him. And he's just different. If you would listen to the president on some of his speeches, especially the one that he gave in Normandy, it was unbelievable. His July 4th speeches like that probably nobody ever listens to. That's where you find, the guy loves the country. Why else would he do this? And please don't sit here and tell me, oh, he's doing it because he's making money. He's making money. Even Greg says it too. They're making money. The guy was a billionaire over and over and over again. Money, they don't need money. Trust me, they don't need money. And I understand people that had that kind of money, all they think about is making more money. I get it. It's out there. But why would he put himself through this? 3 assassination attempts. And if they could kill him, they would kill him in a second, if that's possible. When he, it was out in Butler, PA, and they shot him, and it's by the grace of God that he's alive. You got to say that. And then people, for them to come out and say he really didn't get shot, he staged it in the last assassination attempt. He staged. Come on, man, that's not good for the country. It's not good for our future. It's just not true. But this guy stuck with it, and everything they tried to do to him. So if he's willing to do that, maybe his motive is something different than I think of. People that have been accused of, you idolize the president. I don't. I just want to see our country do well. That's all I ask, because that's how I wound up getting involved in politics. Things were not going well. I wanted to get out of New Jersey, which I kind of still want to get out of New Jersey. That's a whole nother story. But, that led to the national politics, which also led to, my support of the president. Again, not thrilled to death with everything he does, but you're never going to be. Listen, I want those people that supported Obama to be honest. Did you support 100% of everything he did? That everything he did was great and exactly what he said he was going to do? I love it when I argue with somebody on social media when they put back to me and they go, "Oh, well, he said he was going to fix the Ukraine war on day one." Well, he hasn't stopped trying. If you remember, he brokered a ceasefire for a couple of weeks between Russia and Ukraine. Maybe it's in year 2. It's a figure of speech when you say on day one, you're going to do this, on day one, you're going to do that. Every politician does it. And at least, but he never gave up on trying to make peace between those two countries. And maybe that war has calmed down a little bit. You don't hear anything about Ukraine and Russia anymore. Of course, Iran is taking, center stage with it. So the big story, or at least the big story for me, I hope it's the big story for you, is the president is succeeding. If any president of our country is succeeding, then we are all succeeding. You may not think that if you hate the guy, if you just have Trump derangement syndrome, which is actually a real thing. There's actually stories out there that psychiatrists, mainly out in California, has said that people are coming in, just like Rosie O'Donnell. Come on. All these guys too, Colbert, Kimmel, the good friend that the girl I went to, grade school with, actually quotes him on her social media things, like Jimmy Kimmel. And she doesn't like the way the president talks to women. Jimmy Kimmel had a show, The Man Show, where he had girls jumping with short skirts on and low-cut tops on trampolines. I don't think that's treating women very nicely. That's a whole nother story. But these people that keep, giving us their opinion about the president and calling him Hitler hurts the country. But I would be the first. Again, when I went out there in 2016, I said, I'm going to support the guy. I'm going to vote for the guy. I hope he does a good job. But let me tell you, if he does a horrible job, I will be the first to vote against him and be very as vocal as I am for him against him. Any president for this country, you want to succeed. no matter who it is, even if it wasn't the one that you voted for. That's the big story of the day. I hope you agree with me on that story. This country needs to succeed, not only for us, for our children, our great-grandchildren, and our future. You have been listening to the Afternoon Drive Show on WPHT, getting tongue-tied, 1210 a.m. Steve Pack coming at you right after the break.
It's Tri-County Auto time with new May deals on Toyotas and Jeeps. Hey, it's Rich Zioli. The Memorial Day sales event is going on now at Tri-County Toyota. Take advantage of special savings across their lineup, like a new 2026 Toyota Tacoma with 2.99% APR financing. Ask about their veteran specials. They love veterans at Tri-County. It's their way of saying thank you to those who served our country. Now, if you're ready for your next Jeep, step into a new 2026 Jeep Wrangler with legendary capability. Now leasing for just $392 a month during the Declaration of Deals sales event. Tri-County Jeep has over 25 Jeep Grand Cherokees packed full of savings. Stop by during the Declaration of Deals event and see my great friends over at Tri-County. Look for the gigantic American flag and go on their website at tricounty.com to see all the great specials. King of Prussia, Limerick, Jersey, Philly, the main line, easy to get to from wherever you are. Tricounty.com.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-910-2233. That's 800-910-2233. 800-910-2233.
Pet parents, there are many sources to buy your pet food these days. But at Dogs and Cats Rule, we take special care in selecting our brands based on quality of ingredients, company transparency, and science-based nutrition. Coming into a Dogs and Cats Rule store with a dietary issue, we can help select the proper food. The best part of the visit is the shopping experience. That's Dogs and Cats Rule with 7 locations. For information online, visit dogsandcatsrule.pet. Dogs and Cats Rule. Shop small, shop local, shop family.
May weather is nice, but the summer heat is coming, and so are the high utility bills. Don't wait for your AC to start working overtime. Call Window Nation now. During Window Nation's May sale, buy 4 windows and get 4 free. That's right. Replace your windows and get half of them absolutely free. Plus, get 0 down and no payments or interest for 2 years. The experts at Window Nation will install your windows in 1 day or less. Beat the heat and save big. Schedule your free consultation at windownation.com.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
Oh, yeah, the Who. Pinball Wizard. Pete Townshend's favorite song. He actually said that here in Philadelphia. It's another radio station he said that on, but he was being interviewed. He actually played it on an acoustic guitar, and he said that is my favorite song, Who song to play, sing. He loves it. And what a great movie. What a great movie. And that actually, Tommy, the movie Tommy is how I, really got into the Who and enjoyed it. It was Pete Townshend's just, unbelievable with his rock operas. Great band, man. Gotta love these guys. So, showing my age here, aren't I, Justin? It is what it
It's
is.
good music. What can you say?
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's really good stuff. So, I do have a caller on the line. I'm going to get to him in 1 second because, I have a corner of my eye. I'm catching some of the YouTube chat, and I'm going to be honest with you. The reason why I don't look at a lot of it is that I don't have any vision in my right eye. I lost it in October, and so my peripheral vision is very, very hard, so it's hard for me to glance over and see certain things. Some stuff going on there I may not be exactly happy at. It looks like there's some words that are probably not good. The one thing I think somebody commented about, and I appreciate the comments on YouTube and, people listening, and I really thank you for that. But a lot of things that I forgot to mention when I was talking about the president is that it's funny that the guy has basically been in public life. He's almost 80 years old, and just say, okay, 55 years, about 20, in his mid-20s, he started hitting the stage. He was a regular on The View, Barbara Waters, Oprah, all these shows, all these people, all the best, the celebrities, he's met all the presidents, he's done all this other stuff. And it's funny, all this stuff coming out about him, they're saying about him now that he's president. They didn't say that all those other years, all these other people, loved him. Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton were at his daughter's wedding, or vice versa. Him and Melania were at Chelsea's wedding. I get it. It's a nasty business politics. And on the level that he's on, it's even more nasty. But that doesn't help the country. I didn't like it when our side, the Republicans, were, saying things about Biden and his family. And his, Hunter has got some interesting stuff there, but it still wasn't good for the country. It still wasn't good for the country to be out there and criticizing personal things, agenda policies. You put these policies in place. Let's see how they're doing. You cut taxes for U.S. citizens, and you would hear all kinds of goofy things, and you're going to create inflation. And no, it just didn't happen. And he literally, it's funny that most people say, he hurt your feelings, but cut your taxes. And basically, it is it. And I will say that. But one thing, if he does do things that are wrong, I'm going to point that out also. Like, there's some stupid stuff that they do, but it's government. That's just the way that it's going to be. Every administration is going to do something that may help somebody but hurt another section. The goal is to try for the majority. If it's helping the majority of the people, then that's how we're set up. It's how our country is set up. So I just want to say those things. And if there's fighting on the chat here, please don't do that. But I just appreciate you being engaged. So we're going to call her on the line here. That's an AI expert. He knows a lot about it, more than I do. And I always like to do that. If you want to talk cars and stuff like that, I'm going to give you my honest opinion. I say, I'm an expert in certain things, but I can always learn something. So on the line, we have Chris Del Borello, Peter from yesterday's brother, also, but he's a school teacher, entrepreneur, a whole bunch of stuff. So I don't have a proper introduction for you, Chris. So I'm just going to call you right in. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Pac-Man, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. I'm still standing up here. It's 3.5 hours, but it's going, and I'm not shutting up as us Italians, right? We just keep going, don't we?
No, we just keep going. We talk with our hands and we talk with our mouth. So it's they get it from both ends. And but I wouldn't necessarily qualify myself as an AI expert. I heard you mentioning it about an hour ago on the show. And all the investment that's coming into the country, all the great talent that's coming into the country for this AI. I'm so glad that you said it the way you said it, because it's like anything else in life, right? It could definitely be used for the wrong things, but half of all the technology that's been developed over the last 100 years could be used for bad or good, right? And so. The fact that people want to just kind of put a stop to everything. First of all, the genie's already been let out of the bottle, and as you mentioned, so I think that's impossible. Even if we all got together and said we wanted to do that, I think it's impossible. But the other side of that is that it's just like any other technology that could be used for good or bad. And we, as a society, have to come together, both sides of the aisle, and say, okay, we want to pursue this. There's been a lot of optimism about this. There's been a lot of negativity, and I'm kind of along the lines with you. I'm kind of on the optimist side because we don't hear those stories. That's the problem. We always hear the negative side of the stories, but we don't never hear the positive sides. And are you familiar with the company Zipline?
I am not. I'm not.
Yeah. So, so this is again, another example that you don't hear this story, but there's a company out there. They're called Zipline, and they started about a decade ago. And the CEO, I believe he's from Silicon Valley. he was in robotics first, and then he kind of got into drones, and he wanted to start delivery services with drones. And we know a couple other companies like Amazon have tried to do that. It kind of hasn't worked out to, the point that they wanted to get working out. And he said he did a visit to Africa, a country in Africa, and he was trying to roll it out there. And he said, well, what we really need help with is blood. And he said, blood? What do you mean blood? He said, well, it's so hard for us to get our blood reserves to hospitals and doctors to save lives because the remote areas is very difficult, and it's difficult terrain. And he said, well, that definitely could be solved with drones. And so he says, as long as you help me invest with this, we want to invest in your country. You help us invest in this technology. I think we can solve this problem. Long story short, fast forward 10 years to today, they have cut mortality, maternal mortality rates in half.
Wow.
Literally, mothers were dying after birth, mothers losing a lot of blood for whatever reason. They couldn't get the blood to the hospitals. Doctors had to basically pick and choose which patients to use the blood for. That has been drastically reduced to the point where half of all lives that were dying are now saved. Mm-hmm. And this is the power of technology and AI, but you don't hear that story. Another story is just 4 weeks ago, just about a month ago, the Mayo Clinic released a report. They did a study. They used AI models to look at cancer screenings of pancreatic cancer. Mm-hmm. And 75% of the time, the AI picked up that the patient had pancreatic cancer up to 3 years earlier than a human doctor could detect.
Wow.
And so the big idea with that is usually with pancreatic cancer and other certain cancers, you don't know you have it until you start having the pain, right? Mm-hmm. And once you start having the pain of the cancer, it's probably already in late stage 3 or even stage 4 where the likelihood of survival is very low.
Right.
So if you can start picking up with AI screening pancreatic cancer 3 years earlier, that is automatically going to drastically improve mortality rates and survival rates of people with pancreatic cancer. And that hits home to me because the Assemblyman, a lot of people might still remember Assemblyman DeChico, right, from South Jersey. He died of that. And so when you start to be able to have AIs detect pancreatic cancer and other certain cancers in stage 1 or stage 2, the chances of survival are going to go up. So those are just two quick, optimistic outcomes of AI and this technology that what I really want people to do is, and what you were advocating about an hour ago, is do your own research, do your own homework. And what I'm trying to teach to my kids at the high school level is AI can help you if you use it properly, right? We can't just use it to cheat. Right? We can't use it to replace relationships. And I'm so glad you said that because you're 100% right. It will never replace human to human relationships. And as long as we put safeguards around this, as long as we come together as a society and say, we want this technology to help us, not hurt us. So let's put some safeguards around it. And as long as we move forward in that kind of direction, I think, the world will be completely different within 5, 10, maybe 15 years. And we could have a positive outcome.
Yeah, I agree with you. With technology, if we didn't embrace it, we would not be in the places. And of course, okay, we're just going to take nuclear technology. So, it was originally, for power, and then here it comes, and of course they're going to build something that could destroy the world. I know it's crazy. But we have to embrace the technology, because imagine if the United States said, no, we're not going to embrace that technology, and here we would be without able to defend ourselves. We have a nuclear weapon, they have a nuclear weapon. If we fire one at each other, it's over anyway. But it stops them from holding that over our heads. So I get it. So I think the technology, I think it could be used for a lot of good, like you just said. Of course, it could be used for bad things, but I just really, we have to embrace it. We just have to embrace it, and hopefully, I felt better after I had my son and one of his college buddies on the show yesterday, and these guys are paying attention. Our youth is paying attention,
Yep.
and I think they'll get to a certain point where they will say that, hey, we've taken this as far as we can go. We're not going to replace life with AI and that kind of stuff. The same thing I noticed with their cell phones. Of course, the kids are attached. Everyone's attached to their cell phone. That technology is there. It's just a way of life. Just like I just feel that my cell phone is just a small TV. If you remember when TVs came out, we were glued to them. You know what I mean? Especially as a kid, they said, "Oh, we should eliminate screen time for the cell phones," but they had no problem popping us in front of a TV. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's
and our generation, my generation. So I'm like the oldest of the millennials. So our generation was the video games, right?
Right.
They're playing video games 24/7.
Yeah. Same thing.
And,
right.
and it did. And in fact, esports has been one of the biggest growing sports in the country, right? So actually, a lot of people make money off of playing video games now. But it's how you look at life, right? It's how you look at life. If you're going to say AI is doom and gloom and it's going to kill us all, well, then you're going to create that future.
Right.
But if you have an optimistic future outlook, if you say, you know what, there's no better time to be alive, and how can I use this technology to start a new business? I really believe this AI is going to help, a lot of people finally do what they want to do and become an entrepreneur. And get out of that paycheck to paycheck mode.
So let's touch on that with you, because that's your forte, it's business. So let's touch on that. Okay, so all the hysterias, there's Bernie Sanders of the world and all, with the jobs. So as a businessman, how do you feel about it? Do you think that, hey, you're going to be able to create more jobs with this? Or do you think, I can eliminate all these jobs, still make the same money in my company? Where do you see it going in the business world?
So there's this principle out there, this paradox, and it's called Jevons paradox, and it kind of, I'm kind of butchering it, but if you look it up, your listeners can look it up and take a look at it. But basically, as the idea is, as things come down in cost and we have more productivity, you would think, well, we don't need workers anymore. But the opposite happens, which is why it's called a paradox. The more productivity you have, the more people can do, right? So, if I use Claude Code, which is Anthropic's, AI model, if I use Claude Code, or one of my workers use Claude Code to make the spreadsheets faster, well, that gives them more time either for family, or that gives them more time for building those human relationships with my customers at the window again, or that gives them more time on more of the fun part of the work that they like, because we all don't like the paperwork, but, we all like the hands-on stuff. So it creates this paradox where, yes, I got things done a lot quicker, but now I have more time for the fun stuff that I actually like at my job. Yeah. And so, and I talk to my students all the time, because, some people, are, kind of go to white collar route. Some people like to go to blue collar route. For all my blue collar students, a lot of them want to be welders. A lot of them want to be, electricians, and there's no better time to do that stuff.
Right.
There's no better time, because, those welders, maybe they're not welding the old things that used to be welded, but maybe they're becoming an engineer, and they're going to be fixing humanoid home robots in the next 5 years. If everybody starts having a robot to do their chores at home, they're going to break down, and you're going to have somebody come into your house to fix them. So there's so many things on the creation, right? The internet, we thought it was going to replace a lot of workers, and it was a boom for a lot of industries. The app industry, iTunes industry, all that stuff created so many more jobs than it displaced, and that's been the historical trend. And I don't see why we can't create even more jobs, using this technology.
So, my take on all this, and it was a great breakdown. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. My take on all of it is what's happening is, when the Bernie Sanders of the world, and I use him because he's screaming the loudest right now, are saying that, it's going to cut out the jobs and all this other stuff. It generally comes down to, it's like, to him, I think it's more the people that kind of really don't want to work, and then that's why they want to make $25 an hour minimum wage and stuff like that. They always seem to be protecting those people that instead of saying, okay, let's create as many jobs as we can in every industry possible. Again, with this country, with all the freedoms we have, I just don't think it's a good plan for government to tell you, okay, you should get $25 an hour minimum wage because you can't live on anything else, but you had the opportunity not to stay working at McDonald's as a line cook, not a manager or anything like that, your entire life. And it's the choices we make. I just feel my gut's telling me, just the way that, the automotive industry exploded in this country until the government ruined it in the 80s and all that other stuff. If we don't embrace this AI and robotics and all this other stuff, I think we're just going to fall behind as a country. I see it as a huge job creator, and not taking of jobs. So that's me. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm in the automotive industry, so I guess the business industries would know that better. But no, it's a good take on it. I appreciate you calling in and listening to the show.
Yeah.
So, Chris just happened to have my cell phone number, and he says, hey, do you want me to call in? Sure. It's great. That's what it's about. Yeah. Conversations and talking about it.
Yes.
So there's one last question I'm going to have for you. So because how we started the segment was with the Pope then. What do you think about the Pope getting involved with AI? Do you think that's where he should be with this, or leave it up to the business industries?
So I haven't read the document, so I can't really speak to that. I haven't read the full document. I do want to take the time to read that, or maybe I'll have my AI agent summarize it for me and tell me about it.
Okay,
but,
good plan.
No, so yeah, so I haven't read it, but if in the statement that he's talking about that relationship aspect that you're talking about, I would agree, and I would agree with you because you said the same thing. We cannot have AI take the place of a spouse. We cannot have AI take the place of our familial relationships. And so if he's talking about that in his statement, then I would agree. I don't know what else he might have talked about.
I'm sorry to cut you short. I am up against a break, but real quick, Chris, he was talking about how it was going to hurt the poor even more, and I just disagree with that. I think that if it makes my job easier and I can make more money at my business, that allows me to donate more money to the poor or help the poor more and get them out of poverty. Let's get people out of poverty. So, But Chris, thank you so much. That's Chris Del Barello. Thank you so much for calling in for it. I am up against the break. You have been listening to the afternoon show on 1210 WPHT. Catch you right after the break.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-323-8922. 800-323-8922. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-323-8922.
Now we're moving into summer, and it's time we find out how brutal the winter weather was to our home. Hey, it's Rich Zioli. If you're looking for a contractor that can help you with repairs during this time, or maybe you want to get a jump on those renovations, go with my guys, Emmons. They deliver protection, peace of mind, and true craftsmanship. That's why Emmons has always been my go-to contractor for over 10 years in 2 different homes. and they even just remodeled our kids' bathroom. Plus, you're going to get American-made products, American-made roofing products to lifetime warranted Owens Corning roofs built to handle severe weather, siding that elevates and insulates your home, and made in America, windows and doors that blend style and performance, made in America. Emmons has you covered every step of the way. So go to emmonsroofing.com, upgrade your home with confidence, make sure you tell them I sent you, and always go with the company that I go with because I trust them and they've delivered for me each and every time in 2 different homes. That's Emmons Roofing, emmonsroofing.com.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000.
Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief took care of Eric's problem.
And now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Living here is about more than just the headlines. It's the new restaurant opening in Fishtown. It's the playoff energy at the bank. It's the festivals that make your neighborhood feel like home.
KYW News Radio brings you the pulse of the Delaware Valley. From service journalism that solves problems to stories that celebrate our culture, we cover the life you're actually living.
Authentic, local, factual. KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news source.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds, and you can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Good stuff. I used to work at a grocery store. My grandmother owned one, Justin, in South Philly, a little corner store.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I used to get paid a little money to stock the shelves.
There you go.
And help the customers deliver some when I was old enough. When I can deliver some groceries. It's good stuff. Great song, man. Great song. I gotta love it here. So, man, time just flew by. It seems like I just got here. We can do another 4, right? Who's on after me?
Jimmy Fail.
Oh, Fail. Oh, yeah. They got some kind of contract with that guy, so I guess we can't do that. So, but you've been listening to the Afternoon Drive Time Show with your host today, Steve Pack on 1210. I appreciate it. I'm telling you, it's fun. It flew right by here. Coming up on our last segment of the show here. And, yeah, we're moving out. Actually, sooner or later, I'll probably be moving out of New Jersey. I just can't afford to stay there anymore. I can't retire there. Taxes are crazy. Crazy.
Property taxes just hang you out to dry.
Yeah.
You look like one of them old-timey cartoons where you're wearing the barrel, just paying the property taxes.
It's crazy. I had a little 3-bedroom ranch where I always make a joke where, the bedrooms are so small. If I want to change my mind, I got to leave the room. And I'm just right around $10,000, and it's actually not the municipal tax. County tax is a little there. It's the school tax. The school tax is what's killing us. Mismanaged money, but imagine mismanaged money in New Jersey. I can't imagine that. No, not the Soprano States. So, so wrapping up the show here. We got one more segment here, and I think Matt's got something for you. We got Matt.
All right, I've been waiting to discuss this all day because you're a car guy,
Oh, yeah.
and Ferrari has been working on this all-electric model for apparently the last 4.5 to 5 years with Johnny Ive, who's famous from Apple. He's the guy who basically designed all of their cool-looking stuff, like the iPhone, iPad, the sleek MacBooks. So you would expect this car would look pretty cool after all that time and spending all of that energy designing it with Johnny Ive. It is. I think it looks horrible, personally. Justin, if you want to flash a couple photos up, this car has left the internet bifurcated, even more so than usual. I feel like people are typically fighting online. Some people saying this looks awesome. I personally think it's pretty hideous. I would love your opinion, Steve.
Let's take a look at this here. Yeah. Listen.
Are you buying one? It's $140,000.
Yeah, no. First off, Ferraris are red. All right, they're low, they're sleek. Yeah, that looks like I forgot the name of that company, Rivian car, whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute.
It looks like a shoebox almost.
What is that? That's the interior of a Ferrari? Are they kidding me?
See, I think the interior kind of looks sleek. I mean, it's not what I would expect from a Ferrari, obviously.
So if I'm reading this correctly, though, a 5-seat Ferrari, like
first time ever, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be the last time ever too. So, so I want you to. Okay, guys. All right. So Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right? Do you want that Ferrari or do you want the one from the movie? Which one? The California Spider, Daytona, whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on. It kind of. I don't know. And what are they?
Yeah.
So no. We're not doing this. Ferraris are red. They're low. They're sleek. So what are they doing? If I'm reading this correctly here, they had to make motor sounds because it's electric cars. It's a Ferrari, you
buy the Ferrari to hear the V12,
right? I don't know if you guys. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to hear a lot of Ferraris. I can hear it in my head right now. When you say that, I can actually hear the Ferrari sound, engine sound in my head. What are they thinking? This is okay. Maybe they should have used AI and say, hey, AI goes. They come with a robot and smacks him on the top of the head and goes, "What are you thinking?"
An AI robot of Enzo Ferrari himself.
Right.
Oh, Enzo's got to be just crying in his grave. This is horrible. This is the worst thing to ever happen to Ferrari.
So I'm looking at the specs here. It goes fast. Ferraris are supposed to go fast, but electric cars are going to do that. They're going to go fast, but they don't. They top out. It's got a top end speed of 190, which in today's standards is Dodge Challenger can do that. 330-mile range.
$650,000,
right?
For and you're not even getting the best parts of it. You can get a low end Ferrari for what, $250?
Yeah.
$300, and you're actually
You
getting
can get an old one for even less.
Yeah, it's why? What are we doing
here? I supposed to say again though, your customers think about it and what's making them do this? I mean, I hope the owners of Ferrari now aren't liberals and they have to get an electric car, or maybe they had to build an electric car to meet a government standard or something like that. That's you just can't do that. It's a Ferrari. There's certain things you don't mess with, and it looks like they did. Now, I don't know. Is there any information? Do they sell any of these things, or anybody have them on order, or?
I can't imagine there's going to be people lining up to buy them, but then again, who knows? Because isn't Ferrari a tricky vehicle to purchase? Even if you had $500,000, you can't walk into a Ferrari dealership and walk out with a brand new car. You have to earn their business basically.
Right.
And I think you earn it by buying their kind of less popular models, and I suspect this is going to fit into that category.
And it's less range than an average EV. It's only got 280 miles per charge.
Right.
Which is less than, I think, the Tesla Plaid when it came out.
Yeah.
The craziest thing is that Ferrari spent almost $250 million on the factory that they're producing these EVs in. So they can't really untether themselves from what looks like it's going to be a disaster.
Yeah, they're stuck with it now. They got to invest that money. you got to know your customers too, and that was a big thing when we talked about government and getting involved in industry. And what happened? Americans don't want this. They want those V8s and all, and it's amazing. Like, what Trump did is unleash the auto industries. He's like, listen, people demand large engines that are fuel efficient. So we got some of these V8s getting 35 miles a gallon. Let technology fix that problem. And they're doing it. So the V8s are back. It's going to be great. People like that muscle. So many people that come into my shop that had V6s, and it's time for a new car, and they call me and they ask me, "Hey, Steve, what do you think I should buy?" This and that. I said, "Oh, go buy this car." Oh, it only comes in a 4-cylinder. I said, "But the 4-cylinder is putting out more horsepower now than your V6 did, and it's way more fuel efficient." Blah blah. Like, you just have to educate your consumer. So, but I don't know any of my buddies that have Ferraris that they're purists. There's no way in the world they're buying anything like that. So I just imagine all that money they could have invested. They could have built a cheaper car, So, that's not good. That's not good thinking by Ferrari. So I hope Lamborghini doesn't do that. But who knows? All these companies fall in suit. You talk about the electric cars too. That industry is just dropping like a rock. Consumers don't want them. They're not buying them. And Honda has never lost money, as a company in all the years they've been in existence. And this is the first year they're going to lose money because they had abandoned their EV program. The first year of all the years that Honda's been in business. It's just stupid stuff. You can't force certain things down there. There's like wrong with an electric car. Actually, Chris Delbarolo, who called in, he's got a couple of them. Another buddy of mine has one. He loves it. He says, drive it. And you drive it. It's phenomenal, but it's not for everybody. It's just not for everybody. But, just let people choose what they're going to buy. So, but this has been great. You guys have been doing a fantastic job. I love being here. I love talking. I wish more people would engage. I know they're used to talking on the YouTube chat, and I'm going to agree. Somebody put up there, Quadrophenia was much better. It was much better than Tommy, but I kind of started out with Tommy, but I listened to Quadrophenia. Actually, Quadrophenia, there was, I forget what is the big orchestra. Is it the Australian orchestra? I don't know the proper names and stuff. Where's Phil Onquest when you need him? Whatever the big orchestra is in Australia. So Pete Townsend went and did the whole rock opera with opera singers. I watched the video on it, and then also I downloaded the music. And you want to calm down, you want to chill out, you put that on, and it really does. It's amazing. It's amazing stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna agree. Quadrophenia definitely better. It was just better work than Tommy. Still love Tommy too. So, Justin, when am I out of this place? You want to wrap it up right now? We can wrap it up now. Well, I got to thank everybody for listening. If you didn't catch the whole show and you want to hear some other parts, you can always go back on YouTube and check it out, and also on the Odyssey app. And you really should download the Odyssey app. I'm busy at work, so I usually play the station on Odyssey, and it's great because you can pause it so you don't miss sections of the show. Make sure you tune in to Nick Cale tomorrow morning. I've been beating up on Nick a couple of segments because here you go. I don't agree with everything that Nick says. He doesn't agree with everything that I say, but it's great. Tune into all the station. I really appreciate it. Thank you to the two producers here today, Matt and Justin. Thank you, Stocker. And thank you, our listeners. You have been listening to The Afternoon Show on 1210 WPHT with your guest host, Steve Pac-Man Pakradooni. Come at you soon.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash